I am on a journey to watch and rank all of the Disney movies using an in-depth 8-level 5-star rubric system. And today, we're talking about the Disney's Fairy Collection. Hi, I'm Percy. I'm a romance author with a background in performing arts, self-proclaimed and self-deprecating Disney lover. How's it going? Now, if you missed the first video in this series, we started with watching and ranking all 13 of the Disney princess movies. We watched them out of order, we had some interesting criteria, and we came to some real interesting conclusions. I ain't gonna spoil it for you, but don't worry, it's gonna be linked in the card and down in the description, so you can watch that next, okay? Now, if you're coming from that video, you're gonna be familiar with the criteria in the ranking system. But in order to keep it fair, we did have to do a bit of tweaking here and there. Because if the handmade flower hat does not make it clear, I love these movies. I'm a huge fan, but I wanted to make this as fair and unbiased as possible. I was really strict with these movies, okay? I did not let my love get in the way. But just in case, if you want to skip going over the criteria, go ahead and jump to this timestamp. Or the chapter is down below if you're just here for vibes. But for the friends who are here for the actual science and the graphs, let's start at the beginning. Number 1, would I show it to my children alone? Pretty self-explanatory. But I need to make it clear, I do not have children, but I want children, okay? And not only that, but my partner and I are currently in the process of building our physical media library of movies that we want to own copies of, with the express intention of one day showing our children. So I think about it a lot. But if you're a parent and if you disagree with me on any of these rankings, I completely understand. Your opinion is more valid than mine. Now, the way I like to think about this question is, if my imaginary children came across this movie on their own, say at a summer camp, at a friend's house, would I be worried that they got the wrong message? Would I want to talk to them about anything? Did it give them the heebie-jeebies? Would I just want to check in? Or do I feel like I can put this on without thinking about it so they can leave me the hell alone? Right? And in this scenario, I'm usually pretending my imaginary children are around 6-ish. They're impressionable, they're figuring things out, they're emotionally intelligent, but they're still kind of naive. Now, but remember how I said the tweaking? Yeah, these next two questions were the hardest for me to answer unbiasedly. Is that a word? It is now. Just because I love the aesthetics of this movie so much, and personally, I want to live in Pixie Hollow. I am not kidding. I taught myself to knit because I have this dream of one day knitting a life-size maple leaf poncho that I can wrap around myself to make myself look 2 inches tall. That is the dream. So I had to be really strict when answering these next two questions. But question 2, do I want a doll? Formally, do I want her doll? This question is meant to answer how good is the iconography and the marketability, and does the aesthetic lead into the character's story, and does it progress the story forward, or does it take away? Because we dress ourselves, our characters dress themselves, how we visually represent ourselves is important. And in a visual medium, especially in animation, the aesthetics should be helping build and shape the world and the story. But since this franchise is more of an ensemble piece instead of one leading heroine, I thought it was more beneficial to take all of our leading ladies into account. So in the last video with the princesses, we were thinking about a $150 collector's doll, right? But now for this time around, I was thinking more of blind boxes. Shocking, I know. But imagine, $30 blind box. Each movie is a different collection of figurines. So for every figure or for every doll that I want, the higher the score. And I would be lying if I said this idea wasn't inspired by the Peach Punk, what are they? The Peach Riot Punk Fairy series from Pop Mart. God, that's a mouthful. These guys. I just think they're so cute. I think they're the right size. Just imagine this, Tinkerbell. Or Rosetta. Or Iridessa. Imagine. Mwah. So good. Okay? Do you see the vision? And yes, $30 is cheaper than $150, but it's still a lot of money. Like, let's get that straight. $30 is still a lot of money, especially right now. And especially if you want more than one in the collection. That shit adds up. So it felt like a fair comparison. And yes, the figures I showed cost $20 a piece, and I'm paying $30 a piece, but I figured if it's Tinkerbell, it's going to be more expensive. And also, I would want them to be more expensive, so we had more variation in the body types and the face molds and blah, 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 blah. Anyway, next, is my heart aflutter? Now, this question was originally meant to cover the romance in the original princess movies. Was it believable? Did it make my heart go thump, thump, thump? Did I care, especially on a rewatch? Did the romance live up to the hype? Now, for these movies, there's not a lot of romance going on. And that's fine. That's perfectly fine. But I realized that is my heart aflutter also expands to friendship and also expands to just any human interaction. If it's sweet, if it makes my insides go vroom, if it makes my heart flutter even a little, it counts. It just does. And I'm not saying that romantic and platonic relationships are the same, but they're not, but they both light up my heart in very similar ways. And they make me feel something, and I want to feel something nowadays, so is my heart aflutter? Next, and now this is the last question that had to be altered in order to counter my personal bias. Is my bag packed? So, bit of a story time. When I was a child, I loved the Spy Kids movies, okay? Follow me. I would dress up in all black, I would jump on the bed, and I would play Spy Kids, pretending my mom's old makeup case was my little spy computer, like the mom. You know, little makeup. Awesome. And that movie was the first movie to ever spark that sense of adventure in me. And now I expect that same sense of adventure in almost every single movie I watch. Actually, no. Yes, in every single movie I watch. Because movies should build worlds that feel so engrossing that you can just step into them and take off running. That's what this question is trying to answer. Does it spark that sense of adventure? Now, like I said, I want to live in Pixie Hollow desperately. I'm gnawing at the bars of my enclosure. Let me in! So how did I counterweight my own desire? I had to pick a single place. One place. Just a single place. Does this movie have a single location that makes me want to reach in and claw my way through the goddamn LED screen to make my way in there? And if so, how, why, how much, how good is it? How ready am I to take off running? Do I just kind of like it, or am I gnawing at the bit? Anyway, next, how hard did I cry? Another self-explanatory one. And this question doesn't just cover sadness crying, but also joy. Is there ever a moment where I feel overjoyed, where I get a little misty-eyed? And I will say, I am a crybaby. I'm a crybaby cancer, and that's okay. But I've been this way my entire life. So I know when it's just me or when it's like, no, this is actually genuinely sad. But don't worry, if I do cry, I will show my work. I'll tell you exactly what made me cry, why it made me cry, when it made me cry. And the scale is not just, did I get a little misty-eyed? It goes from dry eye to misty-eyed to tears falling to soaked t-shirt to snot running down my face, okay? That is the scale. Next, did I dance in my seat? Now, okay, I lied. I also had to alter this question. This movie is not a musical, unlike the last batch with the princesses who were full musicals. So I didn't judge these movies as harshly, or at least I didn't judge it the way that I would a full musical. But instead I really focused on the opening number, the closing number, and if there's a big dramatic song in the middle. And do those moments paint the picture? Does the music take me away to Pixie Hollow from moment one? Does it shape the identity in any way, shape, or form, or does it take away from the moment? Does it feed into the Pixie identity? That's what I'm trying to answer here. Next, how evil is evil? So, this question has expanded to involve a much broader scope of evil. These movies don't usually have a villain. It's much more interpersonal relationship conflict. So instead of evil villain, I'm more answering, does the antagonist actually feel like a real antagonist? Like, are there actual stakes? Are they kind of fucked up? Do we care if the antagonist wins in any way, shape, or form? The more evil, as in the better the stakes, the better in my opinion. Children deserve good stories. I'll scream it from the rooftops for as long as I live. They deserve good stories. They deserve to know that dragons are real. And more importantly, they deserve to know that they can be slain. They deserve good stories. And lastly, would this be made today? This one's a little confusing. I know, it's confused every single person that I've tried to explain it to. But the higher that the movie ranks means the less likely that it would be made today. Now, the reason for that is because I respect a goddamn choice. I don't want movies that try to appeal to the masses. I want movies to stand 10 toes down on whatever their message is and whatever they're trying to say, whether I agree with it or not. Make a goddamn stand. I don't want this generalized, maybe something or other, if only this happened. You know what I mean? Take a stand. That's what I want. The higher the number, the bigger a stand they take. I want them to say what they want to say. And lastly, I do have a section in my spreadsheet for deductions. It's not something that's been used very often, but I have it there just in case it needs to be used. If there's going to be a deduction, it's because something has to take away from my overall enjoyment of the movie. Something has to snap me back to reality so goddamn fast I get whiplash. That's how you get a deduction. So when I say 8-level 5-star Rubik system, I mean it. Now, with all of those details out of the way, we have finally joined back up with those who skipped over the criteria, and we are all ready to put on our wings, fly over to Pixie Hollow, and get sorted into our talents. Let's go. Low-key, I am being serious. I don't know what my talent would be, and I'm kind of hoping that going through these movies, we're able to kind of answer that question by the end. Because, again, I want to be a fairy. And I know, yes, orange. Normally it's associated with the animal talent fairies. But like I said, I'm a crybaby. I can't work with animals. They make me a blubbering mess. I just love them too much. It's a problem. I made this orange in reference to the California poppy. I know it's not a poppy because it has too many petals. I know, don't get me started. Okay, I know my flowers. I know it has too many petals. I just couldn't figure out how to make the pattern match to 4 or 5 petals. And as always, friends, make sure you have a craft, you have a drink, and let's settle into it. For those of you who are new here, I am fully disabled. I cannot sit up for very long, so if there's ever an awkward jump cut, or if I come back and my hair looks funny, no, it doesn't. And that's also why I'm always kind of crafting and looking down in my videos. It's because I can only sit up for so long, and I have things I need to do, so I try to stack my hobbies. Whether it is your crochet time, or whether it's your knitting time, or your painting time, I'm just glad we're hanging out. Anyway, Tinkerbell, 2008. So I forced my partner to watch this one with me, and honestly, he was not about it, and I didn't realize how much this movie meant to me until he said no, and I immediately started crying. I just started crying. I didn't know this movie was that important to me, but apparently it is. Or maybe I was about to start my period. The world will never know. Because it was weeks ago. But oh my god, I love this movie so much. It's not perfect, but it's so fun, and I can't help but, I can't help but love it. I really can't. And so in an attempt to keep our movie descriptions as brief as possible, so we're not here for a million years, let me introduce you to our leading ladies. So first, of course, we have Tinkerbell, our Tinker Fairy with a real short temper, but who is a fan favorite. Next, we have Silver Mist, our soft-spoken water talent fairy, and if girly pop media has taught me anything, it's that the soft-spoken, blue color-coded one with dark hair that is slightly Asian-leaning is usually the smart one. But no, she's a ditz. And I say that with all the love in my heart. She's the biggest ditz around, and I love her so much, but oh my god. Next, we have Fawn, our animal talent fairy, and personally, she was my favorite as a child. I think because I was kind of sporty myself. Was I good? That's not the question, but I was sporty. And like I said, I know, orange, associated with the animal talent, I couldn't do it. I couldn't do what she does. I would be a blubbering mess 24/7, and I would probably off myself. But that's not important to this. Next, Rosetta, our Southern Belle flower talent fairy, she is so sassy. I love it so much. I think she's my current favorite. Next, Iridessa, our light talent fairy. She's a little bit nervous, but she's very sweet, and she's voiced by Raven Simone. How fun! And lastly, Vidya, our fast-flying fairy who only has one setting in its cunt. I love them. I love all of them so much. And there are other fairies who show up in multiple movies, if not all of the movies, but these are our leading ladies. They're the ones that are in the blind box collection, right? But with that out of the way, let's officially fly back to the beginning of the story. So this is the first movie in the Disney Fairies collection, and it is named after one of the most beloved and low-key controversial Disney characters, Tinkerbell herself, my queen. We follow as she is born from a baby's first laughter, caught on a dandelion seed, and blown all the way to Pixie Hollow, where she is bathed in pixie dust and given life. And she's so pretty! And she's so pretty. I don't know what it is. This dandelion dress, it's so cute. So pretty! But now that she is a freshly born pixie, she has to do the talent choosing ceremony, where the fairy doesn't choose the talent chooses the fairy, as one does.
Are they gay?
Did you say, are they gay?
Yeah, they lingered.
Oh.
Between the two of them.
They will help you find your talent, little one.
But how do I know which one is...
You'll know.
Okay, bitch. I hate when they say that.
You'll know.
Okay, fuck you. Literally, which of the gays are you drawn to? What is this?
Let them live! Let Rosetta live!
Why are they the goths?
The countryest of them all.
They're literally the goths. What the...
They're the speed flyers.
She's divergent.
She ends up being called to the hammer, which represents Tinkers, and when she picks it up, it is blindingly bright, signifying that, yes, she is the tinker of all tinkers.
What is that?
It's a hammer.
The caveman whack-em?
No!
The old whackinator?
Why are you surprised?
What is this?
It's a hammer!
What? A warrior?
No!
What is she?
Her name is Tinkerbell.
That's not a tinkerer's tool. That's an axe.
It's not the little hammer.
It's not a hammer. What is that? Does she tinker?
Yes.
Does she build?
Yes.
You say that like I would know that she's a tinkerer.
Tinkerbell.
That doesn't, it's a nonsense name.
It means that she's gonna have a super special, super magical, one-of-a-kind talent, which makes Vidya jealous, because she was the last one who got the super bright, special, blinding magic moment. And she's not Mama's favorite anymore. So she's mad about it. But we follow Tink as she integrates with the other fairies and makes her way over to the Tinker section, the Tinker's Grotto, if you will.
Hey-ho, Miss Bell.
Whack!
No!
Pleased to meet you.
Why are you Irish?
It's a great question.
So they make tinkerers work? Like they
No.
give magic to tinkering people?
No, that'd be really funny.
But like every other fairy is like controlling something in the world and they don't get to?
It's almost like it's the plot of the movie.
Oh. Are you sure it's not a hammer? Are you sure it's not an axe?
I'm sure it's not an axe.
Whack!
No, whack.
So they made the poor people all Irish. With Irish music.
Oh no.
They made them Irish. The kind of down, like the shoved off to the corner people.
Maybe.
We're not gonna read into that one?
No, we're not.
But as Tink integrates with the other Tinker fairies, her brain never really stops running. It's always kind of going too fast, and she has this need to create and fix things and to innovate things and to play with all these little fun, shiny things that wash up on the beach, known as lost things, which are human things that get lost in the mainland, in our world, and that wash up onto Pixie Hollow. Precious. And Tink finds them, and Tink starts to yearn. She wants to know where they come from. What are they for?
Tinkerbell does speak to my soul and her need for little trinkets.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Is this just Little Mermaid?
No.
Okay.
No? With an asterisk.
Asterisk, not Tinkerbell?
Asterisk.
Or not a Little Mermaid?
Yeah, no, not little asterisk? I don't know how to say it.
And this makes her excited to go to the mainland. She wants to find out where the lost things come from, especially since the other nature talent fairies are prepping to bring spring, oh my god, that's so hard to say, to the mainland.
Just follow the second star, ride the breeze.
Why can they see it in the middle of the day?
All the way
Because it's magic.
and then there it is. Wow.
England.
Terrific.
It is!
England!
Yes. The place, the magical place. England.
But unfortunately, she learns the hard way that Tinker talents don't get to go to the mainland. Because as we established, Vidya doesn't like Tinkerbell. And when Tink expresses, oh, you'll see what I can do at the mainland, Vidya is like, yeah, you're right. I will see what you're gonna do. See you then. Mean girl. Ah! I love her. I love her so much. And this leads to Tinkerbell in front of everyone. She proclaims loudly in front of everyone, including Queen Clarion and the head pixies and the head sparrowmen, and everyone, about her inventions that she is so excited to share to help tinkers on the mainland to continue their work. It made me want to curl up and die. Not because it's embarrassing to be excited about something. I love her enthusiasm. It's just the irony of knowing that she's being set up. I can't, oh my god. And that's just a me thing. I can't do that in any movie. Secondhand cringe, secondhand embarrassment, I'm not built for it. I'm not. I'm sorry. But Queen Clarion very gently, very kindly lets her know that Tinkers don't go to the mainland. They stay here while all the other nature talent fairies get to go.
All of those things are done by the nature talent fairies. Your work is here, in Pixie Hollow.
Don't say it.
Get back to your nook,
No.
Irish slave!
No.
And unfortunately, this leads to Tinkerbell wanting to change herself. She doesn't want to be a stupid tinker anymore. She wants to change her talent. She really hates being different, and she's really starting to resent her fascination with lost things because it makes her different. And so one by one, she goes to each of her friends trying to figure out how to change her talent. It does not go well.
Kills them. So far, she's made 3 different weapons.
I told you she would throw hands.
I'm saying, let her make weapons. Let her be the military contractor of this place.
It goes so not well that by the end, Tinkerbell, with the helping of Vidya, she ends up ruining all the work of the other fairies the day before they're meant to bring spring to the mainland, basically canceling all of spring.
It's actually kind of... Save it. I know what you've been up to, Lucy. And I have such high hopes for you.
Oh.
Immediate Catholic guilt.
Yeah.
Well, delicious.
There was nothing for that except for Catholic guilt.
Yeah.
And in her defense, like, Vidya was a huge part of that. Tinkerbell wanted to try to be a garden fairy. Rosetta wouldn't help her. Vidya saw an opportunity to tell her, oh, well, like, a good garden fairy can wrangle all the wild thistles. Just naturally. You should go do it if you're going to be a garden fairy. But the wild thistles are essentially wild cattle. So, of course, Tinkerbell is not able to wrangle them. She almost does. And then Vidya just lets them loose again. So, yeah, like, of course shit goes wrong. What are you guys doing? What's happening here?
Oh, she gave for her?
That's one of the biggest shifts, yeah.
Why is her wings barely moving?
What do you think it is?
Videos?
Yeah.
You're a pollinizer?
I never noticed that. That's actually really funny. She's a fast flying fairy, so I just wonder if she's just stronger.
Or is it just that Tinkerbell's more nervous?
Maybe.
This is but a
Pretty girl. She's nervous.
Yeah.
breezes in the sun.
Cunty girl.
Cunty girl, she's nervous.
Her hair would be such an obstacle to her wings.
Yeah, but then she couldn't serve cunt. So,
The hair isn't the cuntiest part about her.
no, but a ponytail is the cuntiest hairstyle.
Not that kind of ponytail.
A high ponytail?
With that much hair, it's giving mob housewife. Because it's so big.
Big.
And it's not tight.
Yeah, it's not slick.
Tink, in her shame and grief, runs off. She wants to go ask her friend Terrence for extra pixie dust so she can run away completely because she's ruined everything. There's no point in fixing it. And Terrence is supposed to be her love interest in, like, later films, but it never really works. They never really have the chemistry for it. So they're just kind of best friends. Her being a tinker and him being a dust talent fairy. But they end up having this talk, which is really sweet, and we'll talk about it in a second, where she has to learn to accept that she's a tinker and the things that make her different. This love for lost things is not something to be ashamed of. It's what makes her special, and that's a good thing. It's good to be special. It's good to be different. And because of her love of lost things, she realizes only she is able to clean up this mess. So she immediately gets to work. She works all through the night, kickstarting the industrial revolution of Pixie Hollow, and creates blueprints and mock-ups of all these little different gizmos and gadgets to repair and fix everything that was broken the night before. It's just so crazy, it just might work. And overnight, all the fairies work together to repaint all the bugs, repaint all the flowers, gather up all the seeds, and they are able to do it in time to bring spring to the mainland. And Tink, because of her heroic actions, fixing the shit that she caused, she is given the special gift to go with her friends to the mainland because of Fairy Mary. Look at her, look how cute she is. She is the head of the Tinkers, but her and Queen Clarion, the queen of all the fairies, who may or may not be made of pure pixie dust, the jury's still out.
That's the outfit I got in Disney Dreamlight Valley that I was so excited about that I spent real money. It's Queen Clarion!
But the two of them give her special permission because they found this music box that Tinkerbell had been fixing up. They bring the ballerina to Tinkerbell, and they tell her that there is a little girl who is missing her music box, and that means that Tinkerbell has a job to do at the mainland.
Really bold of them to assume that Britain ever has looked that good.
That's fair. I'll give you that.
She just plops it on some kid's head.
There you go.
Bonk! Whatever kid doesn't die from it, that's theirs. Right in the soft spot.
And that little girl is Wendy Darling. Cute, sweet, straight to the point. I like this movie a lot. So let's get into the ratings. 1, would I show it to my children alone? 4 out of 5. Now, there's nothing in this movie that I wouldn't be okay with my imaginary children watching on their own. There's nothing scary or worrisome or something I think they can take the wrong way. It's really only a 4 because it has a lot to do with emotional regulation and interpersonal relationship issues that need to be talked out in a fairly nuanced way. And so personally, I would want to hear my kids talk about it. I would want to know, what do they think about what Vidya did? What do they think about how Tinkerbell thinks of herself? Especially because I love the way that Tinkerbell comes to her final realization, coming to terms with liking herself, because it's not someone told her to. No one looked her in the eye and said, "You're so special, you should be grateful for it." But rather because when her and Terrence talk, he starts talking shit on himself about how he has a stupid talent, it's not really worth anything in Pixie Hollow, and that it's just a menial thing that's not important. The same way that Tinkerbell was talking about herself and her talent, and Tinkerbell's gut reaction is to be like, no, don't you dare talk about my friend like that. How dare you? Terrence, I'm gonna beat your ass. Your talent is so important, it is so special, it makes you who you are. What are you talking about? You shouldn't be ashamed of that. And he turns around and goes, "I'm not," and flies away. And I love that. I love that. Oh my god. It's show and tell, which I think is really important in a kids movie. It lets the kids feel the moral about how you shouldn't be ashamed of yourself and how it's easy to kind of talk down to yourself, but you wouldn't want your friend to talk about themselves that way. It's easy to feel that, and then after feeling it, putting it exactly into words what that feeling is. I love that. Oh, it's done so well. It's so good. Next, do I want her doll? 2 out of 5. Now, the fits are fire, don't get me wrong. I love that you can tell that the different fits are made up of different flowers and they all look different and they have different shapes, and mwah, I love that. I just think that out of all of them, only 2 stood out to me personally, and that's Rosetta and Silver Mist. I don't know what it is. They just look so frilly and soft. I just love it a lot. I really do. And I think they stand out more to me because you can definitively tell what flower that they're supposed to be represented by. And I love that. They did that for me, personally. And I'm so appreciative. And before you mention it, the only reason why Iridessa is not on this list, she came in at a close third. But the only reason she's not, I think she can give more sunflower. Let's layer those petals a little bit more, you know? It's a little flat for me. But it's almost there. It's very close. But 2 out of 5. Next is My Heart Aflutter. 1 out of 5. So, Silver Mist has a crush on Tinkerbell. Tinkerbell has a crush on Vidya. Vidya doesn't know it, but she has a crush on Tinkerbell itself, and you cannot take that from me. Period.
Easy, girl. It's all right. Silver Mist got ya. Oh, you all right, Sugar Cane? Be careful, Rosetta. She may faint.
That is pretty gay of her, actually.
I'll help you, Tinkerbell.
She has a crush on her.
She has a crush on her, and she has a crush on the other girl.
Yeah.
First time for it.
Love triangle.
Love triangle!
It's not a love triangle.
No, it's a love angle.
It's a love line.
It's a love line, you're
Just
right.
Think.
But what really earned the point was the talk between Terrence and Tink. And how you wouldn't let your friend talk to themselves that way. You wouldn't let someone else talk to your friend that way. Why should you talk to yourself that way? I love that. That was so cute. So cute. Next is My Go Bag Packed. That's a 2 out of 5, baby. This could be the autist in me. It's very possible. But I want to go to Tinker Grotto so badly. I don't think I'm a tinker personally. I just want to go and watch them put stuff together. I just want to be a bother. I want to be in the way. I just want to observe like a weirdo and maybe put things in the little purple loop-de-loop thing that they have going. That little conveyor belt, I just want to put stuff in there. I do. Oh my god. So many little moving parts. I love it. I don't want to be a tinker. I don't think I'm a tinker. I think I'm a little too dumb for that in that way. But I just want to be there and I want to be a bother. I want to be in the way. Next, How Hard Did I Cry? 0.5 out of 5. I got a teeny weeny bit teary-eyed just a couple times. Personally, I think it's just the whimsy that this movie instills in me. It's important to have things that bring you joy, and this brought me an unexpected amount of joy, and so I teared up a bit. Specifically at the talent choosing segment, which is not the point where anyone else would tear up, but I did. So it's getting a 0.5 for that reason, only because I have to honor my truth and my experience watching this movie, but I do not think that anyone else would have that same experience. Also, I want to be known that I did cry while watching this movie because my partner told me that fireflies only live a day. That's not true.
I do love the little fireflies. I think they're so cute.
They only live for like a day.
Don't tell me that. Why would you tell me that? Why would you do that?
Sorry.
I'm gonna cry.
No.
I'm gonna cry over these fucking fireflies.
No, they live for 61 days.
Okay.
Also, I need it to be known, I have never seen fireflies in real life. I am from California. We do not have them. We do not have fireflies. To me, they're only things that exist in the movies. So I love them. I have a deep fascination with them. And one day I will see them. And I will take you along with me if that day ever happens. But I will say that also might have skewed the 0.5 for this movie. So I just need to be transparent. I just need to be transparent. Next! Did I Dance in My Seat? 4 out of 5. It is such an iconic opening number. And unfortunately, I did in fact find myself throwing it back to the opening number and to the closing number. But that's just, it is how it is. It's that good. From the jump, the music does such a good job establishing the identity for the franchise. I remember the first time ever hearing this music and going, oh, of course, that's what the Disney Fairies theme sounds like. That's what it's always sounded like. Even though it's never existed before now. That's what it's always been. And to me, that's fucking impressive. And I still get that feeling now whenever I hear it. It still instills that moment of wonder in me. If you know why, let me know down in the comments. I'll be so for real with you. Because I don't know. But it does. Next, how evil is evil. 2 out of 5. 1 point for Vidya. She is the big bad in this movie. She knows it and she owns it. I don't think she's evil, but she is prime mean girl, and that's just as bad. Like, not only wanting to embarrass Tink in front of everyone, but also wanting to get her in trouble on top of it. That's evil. That's so mean. And that's old school mean girl. And you know what? I respect it. I can't help but respect it. I really can't. I really do just love her. And it's not because, like, I don't think I'm a fast flying fairy. Again, disabled fairy here. Like, I can say that with certainty, which also excludes me from being a scout. But even then, not having that emotional connection to her, I still can't help but stan her. I do. I do not see myself in her at all, and still I'm like, yes. Look at her! God, you would too. You would too. And now the second point is for Tink's blind ambition. And now that is not evil in the grand scheme of things, but it is evil in a personal sense. You know, you gotta fight your own personal demons, and those fights are real. Those demons got hands. So, 1 point for Tink's personal demons. And lastly, would this be made today? 1 out of 5. Yeah, 1 out of 5. So, back to Tinkerbell having her own personal demons. I think that if this was made today, I don't think Tinkerbell would feel like Tinkerbell. I don't think that they would make her short-tempered and impatient, and I think that those are some of her most charming qualities. I love that she's not perfect. Like, and she is a little bit watered down. In the original Peter Pan, she is a little shit. She is the OG mean girl. Facts, okay? And in these movies already, they've started watering her down a little bit from that original Tinkerbell because they want us to like her. They want us to see ourselves in her. She's the main protagonist in this series. But they still let her be a short-tempered, bratty perfectionist who's impatient with everything. And I love that. It makes her feel real. And I think if this pitch for this movie, as it is, was put on Disney's desk today, I don't think that they would take it as is. I think that they would want to water Tinkerbell down a little bit more, make her a little more likable, a little more ingenue, if you will. And that wouldn't be our Tinkerbell. And I think that'd be a shame. To me, I think it's really important that Tinkerbell gets angry and her friends still love her anyway. And let me be clear, they don't let her walk all over them. You know, she's not mean in that way. But she does get upset, and when that happens, they give her space to regulate, and they're there to support her as she sorts out her feelings, and I love that. That's important in children's media. Sometimes you snap at your friends, sometimes you hurt their feelings when you don't mean to, sometimes you can be mean, but that doesn't mean that your friends shouldn't be there for you as you kind of figure that out. We're all learning emotional regulation every single day. I don't know, it just spoke to me, and yeah, so I think it earns a point for that reason. For a final score of 16.5. Not bad, Tink, not bad. When I say I have been so excited to finally tackle these movies, I cannot begin to put into words how much fun I had doing this. It was, oh my god, it was so fun. I love these movies. I don't know if you guys remember, but the Pixie Hollow Disney game, yeah, it no longer runs on Disney.com. So a group of fans have created the We the Pixies subreddit, We the Pixies Discord, and they are in the process of rebuilding Pixie Hollow from the ground up, and I'm in that Discord, and I do play on Pixie Hollow. Every now and then, whenever my brain needs a little bit of a break, I love it. I love it. I just want to put that in here in case you didn't know, and you every now and then think about, man, what happened to Pixie Hollow? I'm kind of sad that it's gone. It's not. Join the Discord and you get to see a lot of fun stuff. And it's cool seeing the fan effort to bring back Pixie Hollow. So I just want to put that in here in case that was beneficial to anyone at all. Anyway, let's continue. Next, Tinkerbell and the Lost Treasure, 2009. So each one of these first movies takes place in a different season, and it is such a small detail, but I cannot begin to express how cool that is to me and how much that speaks to me personally. Like I said, I feel like they did that for me individually, and I just have to say thank you. Like, I appreciate that. Thank you. Oh, it just scratches my brain. But here we are skipping over summer. Don't worry, we'll be back to her in just a second, but instead we're going straight into fall. And personally, that earns a little bit of extra love for me as it is my favorite time of the year. I saw a pumpkin and I knew I was in good hands, okay? I was stoked, and turns out I was right to be stoked. This movie, we follow Tinkerbell through the blue moon harvest, which the blue moon happens once every 8 years. In every cycle, it is a different talent's turn to make the scepter to celebrate the blue moon. This year it's the Tinkers, and of course our girl Tinkerbell is the one chosen to make the special harvest scepter, and to which everyone is very proud of her, especially her best friend Terrence. And I will say this movie is predominantly Tinkerbell and Terrence focused. The other girls don't have as much of a hand in it, but they're still there. They're still cute. Look at their little outfits. Cute. Tinkerbell is entrusted with this one-of-a-kind magical artifact called the Moonstone, which on the fall moon harvest, the full moon lines up just right to shine its light down through the moonstone, creating a magical blue pixie dust, which the dust-keeping fairies use to keep the pixie dust tree running, charged up for the next 8 years. Pixie dust being the essential life force of the pixies. Faith, trust, and pixie dust, as they say in the streets. And of course, because of said Terrence, the dust-keeping fairy being a little too excited, a little too proud of his best friend, trying to help a little bit too much, they end up getting into a fight, which ends with Tinkerbell's scepter, which was almost done. It ends up being crushed and broken into a bunch of pieces.
I hate it so much. I hate it so much. Oh my god.
Which rightfully pisses her off a little too much, which leads to a second accident, which the second accident is completely entirely her fault. But she ends up crushing the Moonstone into pieces.
I hate it. I hate it. I hate it. I know what happens. I hate it. Golly.
Valid crash out, girly. But Tinkerbell, in a panic, not knowing what to do, she does the right thing. For a moment. She goes to Fairy Mary, but she can't bring herself to admit what happened, and she just kind of pretends that she's there to watch the play. No, I'm just taking a break from building the scepter. It's done. I just need some finishing touches. I'm just tired. I just want to see the play. Terrified. But in the play, she learns via song, led by this absolute diva, but she learns the story of this lost wishing mirror that is rumored to have one wish left in it. Tinkerbell, feeling the need that she has to fix everything on her own, cuts out all of her friends and devises a plan to go find said mirror to either fix the Moonstone or to wish for a new Moonstone that's even better to fix everything. And in her plan, she has to go to her friends, ask for extra pixie dust. They're all like, just go to Terrence. She tries to go to Terrence, and she wants to make up with him, but can't bring herself to, and ends up just kind of blurting out, can I have more pixie dust? And he's like, we're in the middle of a fight. No, I'm not going to give you more pixie dust. You have what are you talking about? Which also getting extra pixie dust is against the rules, but he's mostly like, we're in a fight. Why are you asking me for a favor? Type energy. But, of course, limitations breed creativity, and Tinkerbell, the mighty creative that she is, makes the world's first hot air balloon. Or at least Pixie's first hot air balloon. And to go on an adventure in this cute little outfit. And on this trip to go find the mirror, she makes friends with this really cute little lightning bug named Blaze, who she's also mean to, by the way. She literally yelled at him a few times, but he's there, and I love him. And I would kill for him, personally. Like I said, I really like fireflies. But Terrence, being a bigger person and a good friend, goes to find Tink, looking to apologize in order to open the door of discussion to patch things up, because he realizes that, yes, he's in the wrong, but she's more in the wrong, but it's hard to apologize, so he can do it first, which is so sweet. But he goes to find her, and he realizes that she's missing, and he makes the realization, oh, she's probably out of pixie dust. That's why she was asking for more, so she might be stranded somewhere. And so he goes on his own adventure that we actually don't get to see, but he goes on his own adventure to go find her. And find her he does, but only after she has found the mirror and has ended up wasting the final wish, wishing for Blaze to shut the fuck up for a minute. Classic Tink, you know? what can I say? And in her anger, while she's once again being mean to my boy, she's trying to blame him for wasting the last wish, and then she looks down and she realizes, oh no, the villain has been her all along. And she desperately wishes that she could just apologize to Terrence, fix things up with him. She fixes things up with Blaze, which is very sweet. She goes, I'm so sorry, it's not your fault, it's me. I'm just stressed out, I'm so sorry. And fix things up with Terrence, she does. Because she's looking in the mirror, desperately wishing she could just make up with him, pouring her heart and soul out to this imaginary version of him that she sees in her mind's eye, only to find out that he is actually there and he heard everything and it wasn't a hallucination, he is just there talking to her. And he's like, hey, turn around, I'm right here. And it's very sweet. It's very, very sweet. And on this rescue mission, he brought all of the broken pieces of the scepter and all the broken pieces of the moonstone in an attempt to apologize and to give her a chance to fix what's broken. And just trying to stay out of her way, but she realizes the only way to fix what's broken is to work together. And together, they put the multiple pieces back together as best as they can, and they barely make it to the Harvest Moon Festival on time, with a scepter that they did not get a chance to test. They put it up, rip off the cloak, last minute, reveal, horrified gasp, but too late, the moon's about to hit, they have no chance. Everyone's shocked as they reveal the scepter full of broken moonstone pieces, using a diamond to refract light in a certain way to hit all the pieces. It hit, it explodes, blue pixie dust everywhere, our heroes once more. It's the most blue pixie dust that they've ever seen, because each little moonstone worked with its own moonstone to create even more pixie dust. It's crazy. Which means Tinkerbell, once again, has brought an established, age-old system to its knees by modernizing and re-establishing the norm and creating what is essentially inflation in the Pixie Hollow universe. But it's fine, because she's the main character. And that is a true pretty privilege, my friends. So, ratings. 1, would I show it to my children alone? 4 out of 5. Okay. I love the story. It's very, very sweet. I love that Tinkerbell is the villain and the hero at the same time. I think that the only thing that would make me want to be in the room with my kids is, once again, the emotional regulation. Tinkerbell is mean. She's mean in this movie, and she gets angry, and she yells at her friends, and she snaps at them, and she blames them for things that they didn't do, and she blames them for her own failures. But that's the point. And she gets to apologize and make it better and learn how to be better. And I like that a lot. A lot, actually. I like that it shows that feeling too big and not knowing how to handle it is normal, and that you might hurt feelings of people you love. Unintentionally so. But the important part is realizing where you went wrong, apologizing, and going out of your way to make it better. And I love that Tinkerbell waste the last wish of the mirror being mean to Blaze, because at that point she has made the realization that she's being mean to people and it's kind of her fault, and maybe there's some reflection that she needs to do, but just because she made that realization doesn't mean that she's fixed. And it happens again. Even though she knows better, she still gets upset, blames someone else, is mean to someone, and then goes, damn, that's me. I did that. That's my fault. I like that she's already realized that she's in the wrong, but still messes up again anyway, because it takes work to be better. You have to actively try to be better. And I think for little kids, I think that can be kind of stressful, you know, seeing the hero be the villain and be mean. But at the same time, I think it's important. So I would want my kids to see this movie, but I would want to be there just in case. Next, do I want a doll? 3 out of 5. 1. Rosetta, once again, coming out swinging with the fits. Oh god, I know it is a simple, it's a little jacket over her normal little outfit, but the matching underskirt with the matching tights and the matching shoes. Oh my god, it makes me want to cosplay her. It is so cute. Mwah. God, Rosetta's good. 2. Tink's little adventuring outfit. I am a bit of a sucker for a leading lady who is in her adventuring outfit, ready to go adventure and do her thing, and still puts a little skirt over her tights or over her pants. Just cause. It doesn't add anything. It just makes you look cute, and I love that. And number 3, this diva. Hello? Who is she? This theater leading lady. I love her. And I know she's just a 3D model on a screen, but I love her. She has presence. She deserves to be on the stage. Look at her. She should be the chase of this collection, just saying. Next is My Heart of Flutter, 3 out of 5. So Tink and Terrence making up made me feel all warm and fuzzy inside, simply because they earned it. Not only that, but Terrence choosing to apologize first, not because he thinks he's the only one in the wrong, but instead to open up the conversation because he realizes, hey, this is a hard thing to do, but I can do it in order to fix this relationship with my best friend. I love that. I love him being the bigger person. And even though that he knows, rightfully so, that Tink is more in the wrong and she's done more things, quote unquote, not that it's a score, but even though she is also in the wrong, that doesn't negate to the stuff that he did that could have hurt her, you know? Again, it's not a scoring system. It is, we can both hurt each other and both things can be true at the same time. And that apologizing is hard. And I'm gonna do the hard thing in order to rebuild my relationship with my friend. He cares more about their friendship than being right, and I love that. Next is my go bag packed. 1 out of 5. I didn't think of a single location that made me want to, crawl into my screen, but I do love this little hot air balloon. It's really cute. And low-key, I kind of want to make one. I think it'd be a really cute ceiling decoration for my future library, no? Just hanging up there with like a couple stars dangling. There's something there. It's cute. So 1 out of 5. Next, Did I Dance in My Seat? 2 out of 5. I like this opening number. It's not as good as the first one, but I think it builds on the musical identity, and I wish I had more musical vocabulary, as I always do, to really explain what I mean by that, but it keeps that same sense of wonder while sounding new, while still sounding like the same family, as it should. I will say, I don't think it gives fall, but they are transitioning from summer into fall, so I get it, and not only that, but it did make me want to do this, which could be the Christian Bible camp teen that I have repressed so far deep down, somewhere near my kidneys. So for that, it gets points. Next, how hard did I cry? 0 out of 5 right now, but if anything happens to Blaze, I will be inconsolable. So, next, how evil is evil? 3 out of 5. Holy shit, Tinkerbell's so mean in this movie. She's so mean, and I love it. I love it so much. I think I've made my stance clear, but she's a hothead that screams in the face of her friends, and I can't help but stan her as a character. As a character in a story, I love that choice. Is it a good or nice thing to do? No. But it's ballsy that they made the main character hero also the villain of the same story. That's ballsy. That's good. The villain was inside us all along. Next, Would This Be Made Today? 3 out of 5. I don't think Disney would want to make a movie with Tinkerbell being this mean. I think that they would probably make Vidya do all of the mean things, you know what I mean? And Tinkerbell would be the Terrence. It wouldn't be the main character that's holding all the interest and the nuance. It would be a weird side character that they don't super care about, but the fans latch onto and become such a huge fan favorite. And then who has a criminally small amount of merch made for them. I think that's how this would go in this day and age. I don't think it would be the same. So for that, it gets a 3, which brings our total to 19. Not bad. 19. Nice. On to the next. Tinkerbell and the Great Fairy Rescue from 2010. Okay, so now we are in summer. I know I said it, but I really do love that each movie is in a different season, at least for these first 4. They're all themed after a different season, and it is such a good touch. Now, why are they out of order? that I'll never know and that I'll never understand, but that's not my business to understand, you know? Anyway, fun fact, personally, my first 4 books, one I have written, one I am currently writing, click the card if you want to follow along on that journey, and then the next 2 that I have planned out are also following the 4 seasons, and each one follows a different mythical love interest, and I think that's really fun. My first book, Found Adrift, has to do with a mermaid, takes place in summer in a small little coastal town. My next one I'm currently writing, Firefly, it's a flower farming witch and it takes place in fall and is rivals to lovers. I mean it when I say this scratches my brain. It was done for me. Ow! Anyway, like I said, we're in summer, and we follow our intrepid heroes as they make their way to fairy summer camp down on the mainland. Hello? That's so cute. Now with the Tinkers in tow because of said Industrial Revolution from movie 1. Now they have to come along. And I love it. I love it. Oh my god. And of course, Tinkerbell being Tinkerbell, she is the embodiment of curiosity killed the cat, but satisfaction brought her back. She sees a car driving by and immediately darts after it, being like, I have to know how this works. This giant, very fast, scary looking thing, that's my bestie. I need to go see her. And Vidya, because she's a good girlfriend, obviously tags along to make sure that Tink is safe. And also to try to force her to come back, but she doesn't do a very good job of it. But together they follow the car, end up at the owner's home, and together they end up coming across a very cute little fairy house that the daughter, who lives in the home, Lizzie, had set up in her back garden to attract fairies. And the 2 of them, because they're goobers, end up messing around. Not like that. Get your mind out of the gutter. Don't drop a stitch. But they end up fooling around, and Tinkerbell gets stuck and trapped inside the cardboard fairy home, and Vidya cannot get her out, and she is panicking. Oh my god. Because out comes Lizzie to pick up her fairy home to take it back inside. And Vidya feels just absolutely awful, and she uses her fast flying talents. She races back through the rain, and I haven't mentioned yet, but fairies cannot get wet. If their wings get wet, they cannot fly. So she's being very brave by doing this. But she goes flying through the rain to rally the cavalry and to come and save her girlfriend. She's scared. It's scary, and she feels bad. And luckily, the little girl, Lizzie, loves fairies, as little girls are known to do. And she just desperately wanted to meet a fairy. That's why she had the little house out, and it's very sweet. And Tinkerbell, while everyone else is, like, panicking and trapped by the rain and getting stuck in mud and facing horrors of the unknown, Tinkerbell's just playing house with this cute kid who really likes her. And they play charades. And they have a fun time. It's very cute. It's very sweet. I love it. And Tinkerbell's there, like, wanting to share fairy lore and is just spilling everyone's secrets. But it's fine, because she's doing it to, like, this sweet little girl who just loves fairies. And genuinely, there's no better way to put it, but seeing these 2 interact makes me a 29-year-old woman. I know with the hat and the little dress, it doesn't seem like it, but I am 29. It makes me a 29-year-old woman want to believe in fairies. I want to believe in fairies. I want to set up a garden. I want to experience that level of whimsy and belief and joy. It's just so sweet, man. Holy cow. And that's the only way I can describe the feeling that this sequence gives me. I want to believe in fairies. I want to believe that Tinkerbell's real. Ah! But unfortunately, the whimsy is cut short because Lizzie's single dad is I should have practiced this, Lepidopterist? Sure. Someone who studies butterflies for a living. He's a bit of a workaholic dad, which, before I continue, I do have an important question for the class. I love the appearance of pinned butterflies, personally, but it makes me really sad thinking of pinning something so beautiful that is so important to our gardens and our ecosystem and the cycle of pollinators and something that lives such a short life, you know, to pin it for beauty. I understand it needs to be pinned for study for people who know what they're doing, but I don't, you know? Especially as, like, a gardener who loves pollinators, and I love when my yard is just full of butterflies. It brings me so much joy. I guess I'm asking, does anyone know the ethics behind pinned butterflies? Can you share down below, please? Can you educate class for me? I'm a woman of whimsy. I'm a woman of nature, but I'm also a woman of science. You can't be a woman of nature and not be a woman of science, in my personal opinion. I want to learn more of the ethics from first-hand account, because Google ain't shit. And every time I look it up, it's always it's always people arguing. And I don't trust when people argue. I'll be completely honest. Once you start arguing, I'm like, all right, well, Now I don't believe either of you. Now we're just yelling. So, if you have the knowledge and are willing to share, it would be much appreciated. If not, don't worry about it. It's fine. I'll figure it out eventually. Anyway, back to Science Dad. He's trying his best. It's just him and Lizzie, and they're kind of supposed to be there for summer vacation, but there's summer storms happening, and so the house is just riddled with holes, and water just keeps leaking through, and he's trying to get his work done, trying to take care of his daughter, trying to patch up this house that just keeps squirting water everywhere. And he's pulled thin, okay? He's pulled thin. And also, he's a man of science, and he doesn't really have time for his daughter or her whimsy, and that sucks. But he's trying his best. To an extent. And he ends up giving Lizzie a field journal, like one that he uses, but two, like one that he had when he was her age. He thinks that she's really bright and has the makings of being a great scientist one day, and so giving her a field journal to record all of her scientific observations for the summer. Which, personally, I don't fully know what he expected, because at that age, I would have also filled it with dumb shit. At least she tried to follow the scientific method by getting first-hand account from a fairy about Pixie Hollow, about her friends, about how talents work, about, she goes through the correct steps and processes. It's just not her fault that she has whimsy. I'm gonna be so for real. I probably would have filled it with much stupider shit than fairy magic. I'll be honest. I'll be brave enough to say it. So, before this, after they fill out the journal, it stops raining. Lizzie lets Tink leave. Hey, you're free to go be with your friends. It was nice meeting you. It was nice not being lonely. And she lets her go. And Tink, unfortunately, is very fond of the little girl, and she stays behind, because she knows that Lizzie is going to go show her dad her science journal. And they worked really hard on it, so she wants to be there, but unfortunately, Dad gets really upset and really frustrated and kind of starts going off on Lizzie about, like, being reckless and blah, 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 and, like, getting footprints on the ceiling. And Tinkerbell, hothead that she is, the woman that you are, Tink, she comes out swinging, and she is yelling at him. And we were from her point of view, and now we're suddenly from his point of view, because I am convinced she is cursing that man out. She is calling him slurs. She is so upset that this man dare treat his daughter like that. Like, oh my god. So upset. But of course, Dad, being a man of science, is like, oh my god, a little fairy jar! And tries to capture her. But luckily, our girl, Vidya, being the fast flyer that she is, swoops in, saves her girlfriend at the very last second, pushes her out of the way, and unfortunately, that means that she is now stuck in said jar, ends up getting swooped away to the museum to be presented to his colleagues like a fun butterfly. Oh, and now suddenly we got the second Great Fairy Rescue. Now we gotta go save Vidya. But unfortunately for our heroes, it started raining again, so none of them can fly, and flying to London is a lot for a little fairy. And so what they end up doing is using all the last bit of their pixie dust and sprinkling Lizzie all over, covering her coat, her hair, her hat, her boots. And they all hide in her little pockets, and she flies them all to London to go stop her father, using a big emotional speech. And with the power of faith, trust, and pixie dust, they are able to save Vidya and also repair the relationship between Lizzie and Dad Scientist Man. And I'm assuming he, takes them all home in his car. I'm assuming he didn't make them fly back while he drove back. And then all of our intrepid heroes are now friends with Lizzie and Science Dad and are just kind of happy to be there. They're hanging out. They have a little tea party. Vidya and Tink are just flirting in front of everyone. And roll credits. Cute. I love this movie. So, on to the rankings. Would I show it to my children alone? I think it's my first 5 out of 5, guys. I'm being so honest with you. I want my children to have this level of whimsy and to believe in fairies and pixie dust for as long as is realistically possible. It's just so sweet, and the world is so hard, and having that lightness, I think, is really important for children. And being shown how important friendship is, so no one ever really feels alone, is really sweet. Like, I didn't mention it, but Vidya at one point, she didn't tell the cavalry that, she was the one that ended up accidentally locking Tinkerbell away, and so she feels incredibly guilty about it. And on the way to save her, things just kind of keep going wrong, and she breaks down. She's like, I'm sorry, it was me, I did it, I'm sorry. And she was hiding it because she didn't know how they were gonna take it. They had kind of just started being friends since the last movie. And she didn't really want to ruin that. And then she realizes she has to tell them because they're, like, wondering how Tink gets stuck. And she's, like, fully ready to accept that they won't be friends anymore, which is really, really sad and really sweet. And they give her this really nice speech about how important it is to be like, hey, we're in this together. It's okay. Mistakes happen. You didn't do it on purpose, and that's what matters. We're gonna fix this together. It is, it's so sweet. Oh my god. I love this movie a lot. Spoiler, I love this movie a lot. Next, do I want a doll? 5 out of 5. I think that these designs specifically are so cute. I think they're so cute. Tink's, in particular, is really stinking cute. Really cute. Like, can't you just see them as little vinyl figurines, like, sitting on your bookshelves? One sitting on top of the books, one leaning over the edge, one kicking their little feet, maybe one reading her own little book, laying on a big leaf. Like, can't you? Oh my god, they're so cute. I don't know what it is. One of them holding up, like, a big flower to hide from the rain. Like, come on. I don't know. I love these designs in particular so much. And it kind of pissed me off how much I like them, because give Terrence and the boys, give them their own fits. None of them get new fits, ever. And I'm like, man, show them some love. They deserve it. God, the girlies got so much love, and I completely understand why. Because marketing-wise, this is a movie about girls for girls, but, like, come on. Give the boys fits. Anyway, I'll get off my soapbox. Next is My Heart Aflutter. 3 out of 5. Vidya and Tinkerbell's relationship is the epitome of grumpy ex-sunshine, and I will not be taking critique on that at this moment, thank you. I love that they get on each other's nerves, but they hang out anyway, and it never feels forced. I know Vidya has been, like, the antagonist the past 2 movies, and we'll talk about it a little bit later. This series of movies take great care to build on the lore in a very rewarding way as you go from movie to movie, and Vidya now kind of being tentative friends with everyone else, but having this closer relationship with Tinkerbell feels really satisfying because they've had this rivalry, and they make fun of one another, and they tease each other and get each other's nerves, but, like, they don't want anything bad to happen to one another. I just really love that. I love that detail. But if you're just coming into this movie not having seen the past ones, it makes sense no matter what. It's good. It's good. Next is my go bag packed. Baby, it's another 5 out of 5. I'm sorry. You're gonna say I'm biased. And I am to a degree, but, like, I really want to go to fairy camp. I don't know what it is. I've never been to summer camp, mind you. I don't have any nostalgia for summer camp. But I really want to go to fairy camp. And not only that, but, like, the fact that this is taking place in summer with everything in bloom, and, like, the fairy camp under the tree with that little bluebell thing that I love, that wheel where you can put stuff in and then it drops. I love that. It has that inside the tree into the fairy camp. And I want to be in that tree. I want to go to fairy camp. I want to go there so badly. Like, even the shade of green for the grass is, like, the correct shade of summer green. It's the smallest difference. It's the smallest variance in shade. But that attention to detail, good. It's good. Next, how hard did I cry? It's gonna be a 2 out of 5. It's gonna be a 2 out of 5. Lizzie wanting to show her dad her fairy workbook that she spent all day working on, making sure to, like, take all the right steps, to do all the right things, even though she didn't super know how, but, like, trying her best and pouring her whole heart and soul into this, hoping to make him proud. But then he keeps brushing her off. Genuinely made me really upset. It made me really sad. And then Tinkerbell having the chance to fly away and to, like, make it home safe, but choosing to stay behind silently, to give, like, this new friend support is so sweet. And this movie just makes me so soft. It does. And then with our rescue crew, Vidya coming clean because she feels so guilty and, like, expecting to be shunned and being genuinely shocked that her friends are like, hey, it was an accident, we're in this together, and her, like, not really knowing what to do with that, but appreciating it. It's just, the emotional beats in this movie in particular, they get me right here. If there's any one of these movies that I want, like, to own physically, it's this one. Will I be able to find it? I have no idea, but I want it real bad. I think it's so sweet. Next, did I dance in my seat? It's gonna be a 3 out of 5. I wish I had more musical vocabulary for this, and maybe as we continue the series, maybe I will start to develop it, but the opening song to this made it feel like the first day of summer to me. Like, it feels like the first Monday of summer break, and that's not a feeling that I knew that I had inside me anymore. I'm grown. I'm fully grown. I didn't know it was there, and it immediately came bubbling to the surface the second I heard this opening song. I don't know what that means. I don't know what that means. And like that partnered with the grass being just the right shade of green and the sky being just the right shade of blue, it for a moment, just for a moment, I felt, this is gonna sound so stupid, and y'all can clown me in the comments, I completely understand. I want to clown me in the comments, but I'm gonna be honest, that's the point of this. For a single moment, I felt like things were going to be okay. And that's what movies should do. They should be able to kind of sweep you up no matter where you are, sweep you up and drop you somewhere else and take you on this journey and fill you completely with a new feeling that you might not have known that you had. And that's sick as hell, dude. It still only got a 3, but it still only got a 3. It's good, and it did that for me, but I don't think objectively it is the best music out there. You know what I mean? But I am going to be honest with my feelings and my experiences. That's the point. That's why you're here. That's why you come to me. It is what it is. Anyway, I'm gonna stop being vulnerable. Next, how evil is evil? I said 3 out of 5. And I'm gonna read this quote to you directly from my script. 3 out of 5. Killing your only child's whimsy in the pursuit of science is so fucked up. Let a 9-year-old believe in fairies. Who cares? I know he thinks that she's wasting her potential as a scientist because she's so smart, but how are scientists made if not by an unquenchable thirst for discovery and believing in the unknown? Like, shut the fuck up. Let her live. And I stand by that. Shut the fuck up and let her live. Ugh. Anyway, would this be made today? I said 0 out of 5. If they're still making fairy movies today and this was pitched in the boardroom, I don't think that there's anything that someone would oppose to. You know what I mean? There's nothing controversial about it. There's nothing pushing the envelope. It's just a good, heartwarming story done right. And honestly, I think this is officially my favorite Disney fairy movie out of all of them. And I've seen this movie before, and I don't remember it being this good the first time around. And I don't know, maybe it could be because I'm in a completely different place now. I'm disabled now. I do this now, you know. I don't know. But this time around, it just hit different. And I'm so excited to get to share it with you because of that and to share all my thoughts. Anyway, if anyone knows where I can get vinyls of these little ladies, let me know. Please and thank you. Total score, 26. It's gonna be hard to beat. It is. It really is. But I'm done being vulnerable now. Next, Tinkerbell and the Secret of the Wings, 2012. Yay! So we are in winter now. Oh, why did I say it like that? I wasn't trying to do an accent. I think I just lost air. So we're in winter now. Hell yeah, we love to see it. And okay, I know I just said I'm gonna be done being vulnerable, but I'm a liar. I desperately want to live somewhere where it snows. I am a Bay Area native. Like, I am born and raised here, and that doesn't mean much because I don't leave my house much, but I am born and raised here. And we don't get snow. We have, like, some of the most even temperatures year-round of anyone and everyone. Oh no! My eyelash is coming off. How dare you? Do we care? I care. Ah! No! What was I saying? Oh yeah, that as a native Californian, I would die if I lived anywhere that got below 50 degrees. I would curl up and freeze to death, and I would suffer. But I want to do it anyway. I want to live somewhere with snow. But with that being said, I think it is safe to knock off all of the winter fairy talents off of our list. All of them. It's not who I am. It's not. No matter how much I want it to be, it's not who I am. Anyway, this movie's really good. There's like a really subtle texture upgrade and a really subtle smoothing of the animation that I can't help but appreciate. And it just ups the production value in my opinion, which is really cool. And honestly, if I wasn't watching these movies back to back to back, I don't think I would have noticed at all. And before the rewatch, whenever I would think back to these movies, in my head, all of these movies look like this art quality, and that's not the case. That's not the case. This is a genuine upgrade, but this is what I think of when I think of the Tinkerbell movies. So take that for what you will. But let's get into it. So this movie, we follow Tink as she learns about the Winter Wood. Ooh, spooky. Just like in the first movie, everyone's doing their part to help Spring, except now everyone is doing their part to help the winter fairies prepare. So the Tinkers, for instance, are making baskets that are being picked up by the snow owls, being brought over to the winter woods because they need baskets to bring snowflakes in, right? Tinkerbell, Clank, and Bobble, who I have not mentioned up until this point other than the boys. These are the boys. It's Clank and Bobble, the boys. They're often used as the comedic duo, and I do really like them as characters, but I don't laugh at their jokes. I just think that they're cool little guys, you know? But they've been around this entire time, just so you know. And like I said, they should get seasonal fits. So, the three of them, they're working on the baskets. They're watching them get swooped away by these big snowy owls. And this, of course, piques Tinkerbell's interest. She later meets up with Fawn to help her / watch her usher the animals from the warm side of the border over to the cold side of the border. Because, of course, this piques Tinkerbell's interest. And this is where we learn that warm weather fairies are not allowed onto the cold weather side, and this, of course, what? Piques Tinkerbell's interest. You are correct. Good job. You're good at this game. And honestly, I love the consistent characterization of Tinkerbell. The second you tell her not to do something, she's gonna go and do it, and then you're gonna go, oh, well, that's her Tinkerbell. I might be Tinkerbell. No, I can't be Tinkerbell. No, I can't be Tinkerbell because I can't be a Tinker talent because I'm too dumb to do that. We talked about this. Cool. Nice. Cool. We're still in safe, not vulnerable land. Anyway, back to Tinkerbell being a nosy bitch. While she was hanging out with Fawn by the border, asking all these questions, asking like, why can't we go over there? Who set the rules? Why is that a thing? She feels this strange sensation creep up her back, and her wings start doing a little shimmer. A little sparkle, if you will. A twinkle, one might say. But they are a shimmering. And now the wings have a secret that needs to be solved, you see. Why are they shimmering? Who are they shimmering for? If anyone. Tink, of course, asks around. No one knows what she's talking about. She ends up going to the library looking for answers, which, of course, no one knows. She ends up finding a book on wingology. Iconic. It's in the shape of little wings. But unfortunately, it was eaten by the bookworms. Which can actually happen. Bookworms are a real thing and they will eat your books. If you get secondhand books, make sure to, like... I know a lot of people say freeze them. I don't have another suggestion, so freeze them, I guess, to kill bookworms so they don't eat your favorite books. Just saying. But she ends up asking the librarian fairy who wrote the book. It's the lore keeper. Where's the lore keeper? The lore keeper is a winter fairy. And she goes, that's all I need. She really was looking for any excuse to kind of just hop on over. And Tinkerbell, the queen of innovation that she is, she makes herself a cute little snowsuit, which is very sweet. She sneaks the wingology book, and then she ferries herself to the winter side by hiding in one of those aforementioned baskets that are being swept up by the big snowy owls, where she almost gets found out by Lord Mallory. Hi, Lord. I like him a lot. I think he's very cute. Not only that, but this is the first disabled fairy that we've seen. Where are his wings? Where are they? Interesting. He doesn't fly using his wings, he only flies using his owl, which, if you're not paying attention or if you're a child, you might not clock that right away because it's Lord Mallory. He has this big grand entrance, so him flying in on an owl just kind of makes sense. You don't question it. That's just an important man doing important man things. But yeah, no, we don't see him with his wings. He's just walking around. He's just a guy. Just around on an owl, which is really cool. I like that. Especially as, like, a fairly newly disabled individual. Like, it just makes me really happy. Because the first time I watched this, I don't think I clocked it right away. I think later on, like, on a set, because, again, important man doing important man things. I don't think I clocked it right away. And when we kind of learned why he flies around on an owl, I was like, oh, that's a really cool choice. Like, that's cool, having him have a steed. And, you know, disability awareness and disability representation in a way that didn't feel so overt, being the woke high schooler I was. But now, as, like, a full-grown adult seeing that, as a newly disabled adult seeing that, I'm like, oh, fuck. Oh my god. Like, it just hit me in the chest a little bit, you know? Like, it hurt in a good way, in a very sweet way. Like, I'm happy that he's there, and now I love him. Daddy, I love him. Sorry, it's past midnight, so I'm going a little crazy. We'll talk more about him later. But anyway, back to Tinkerbell in the library with the candlestick. She does end up finding her answers in the form of the keeper and her sister, who is also there, also looking for answers for the weird wing shimmer that no one seems to know anything about. Turns out the baby's laugh that carried Tink here carried 2 dandelion seeds here, but one got separated on the way, got stuck in a branch, and eventually made its way to the winter wood, where it was brought alive by one of their own little streams that they have over in the winter side. Which is a bit of a plot hole, because I'm 99% sure we see the winter fairies at Tinkerbell's talent choosing ceremony. Yes, but the winter wood, since the winter fairies have to remain cold, the winter wood has its own stream of pixie dust to keep them supplied. So I would believe that occasionally winter fairies do just kind of show up on the other side and get turned on accident. You know, I could believe that. I could believe that. And yes, is it a plot hole? Yeah, but we're making it work. But yeah, Tinkerbell has a twin sister named Periwinkle, one of my favorite colors, who also, fun fact, is apparently voiced by Lucy Hale, which I only learned while writing the script. I don't know. I'm in the middle of watching The Pretty Little Liars right now, like as we speak. I watch it while scripting, I watch it while editing, I'm on my yearly rewatch. I don't understand how I didn't clock that. Well, I'm a little dumb, as we have said. You know what I mean? So maybe that's why. But, like, jump scare. Aria, what are you doing here? But Peri is very sweet. I like her hair. I like her little outfit. I like her vibe. She sings like the cooler sister. She is a frost fairy, which is fun. And I do like that she is just a normal frost fairy. She's not, like, the super special winter gale winds that brings all of the, you know what I mean? I'm just a frost fairy. I just do my job. I have my 2 other frost fairy friends, and we bring frost. It's cool. You know, we go during winter. She just seems chill. Like, I would love to hang out with her. Like, Tinkerbell and I, we're either gonna be best friends, or no, I really like Tinkerbell, even when she does kind of blow up. I don't know, I find her endearing. But I want to hang out with Periwinkle. She just seems cool. And I mean, she still does collect lost things, but instead of calling them lost things, she calls them found things, which I think is really sweet. But, like, that's the only thing that her and Tinkerbell have in common. She doesn't, like, go crazy making things. She just kind of likes them. And she likes putting little cotton on her shoes, like Tinkerbell does. Like, these weird little quirks that does not make sense for it to be genetic. But it's cute that it is, you know? And I will talk about this a little bit more in the next movie. But I love how consistent the fairies are from movie to movie to movie. And I know I've mentioned this, but these movies make a really conscious effort to build and build and build on each other and to add to the lore, not to change it. I think the winter fairies are the only things that really have kind of plot holes, but, like, we're just gonna look the other way because it's not that important. But on, like, the day-to-day, it's pretty damn solid. Like, they learn from one movie, they're changed in the next, you know, and that's really cool, and I think that is a real lost art in children's media. So I just think that's cool, and I wanted to call it out. But back to Peri just being a normal girl. I really do like that Peri's just like, I make frost, and Tink's like, I started the Industrial Revolution. Oh, that's so funny. That is hilarious to me. And they're both equally happy for one another, as if that is the same thing. Oh man, that's true. And, like, they are happy for one another. Like, that's just how their relationship is. It's very sweet. They're happy to get to know one another. They're happy that, like, there's someone else that kind of understands their weird little quirks of stuff that they like and stuff that they don't like. It's just cute. And we get to see them go on, like, a little adventure through the winter woods. And they ice skate and they fall in the snow. And Tinkerbell's not flying because she doesn't have her wings out because cold. So we get to see them, like, walk around, which is cool. We never see that. We see them flying all the time. Like, lore expansion really goes crazy in this movie. It's really fun. But they spend the entire day together, and at the end of the day, they're like cuddling in a cave, just talking and chilling, and, like, they're watching the sun go down. Tink builds a fire to stay warm because it's getting really cold out, and this gives her the idea that if I can make it warm enough here for me, I can make it cold enough over there for you, so you can come meet my friends and see how the warm fairies live. Very fun, very cute. But unfortunately, that is immediately foreshadowed the bad idea because the warmth from the fire breaks off the side of the cliff, sending both girls tumbling to the ground, which Peri takes off flying, forgetting that Tinkerbell has her wings tucked away and can't fly right now, and she almost doesn't catch her. The only reason why Tinkerbell is caught is because the lore keeper was out looking for them and happened to be walking by and was able to, like, help snag her at the last minute, right? Which, again, just very unintentional, but a very good representation of why it's so important to understand disability accessibility in emergency situations. There are people who just can't do things. Exhibit A. Anyway, back to Tinkerbell. Anyway, the help of the lore keeper, they're able to grab Tink and take her and like rush her back to the warm side, and he's like, hey guys, it's way too dangerous, like this isn't going to work, you need to go home, you could have been seriously hurt, and you can still be seriously hurt, you can break your wings. And of course Tinkerbell doesn't listen. As much as she has curiosity killed the cat, satisfaction brought her back, she's also a dog with a bone, and she will not let go. She just won't. And so she, the next day, with the help of Clank and Bobble, she shows up with a snow machine that they make in one night that is basically just making shaved ice using pedals, and just casually made a whole snow machine in a night for her sister. Very sweet. But not only does she make a snow machine for Perry, she also coordinates and asks her friends, can you put on this show for my sister, whom I love and who really wants to see like the flowers and the butterflies, and she's never seen them before, like, can you help me do this for her, because her time on this side is much more limited. It is so sweet, so sweet. And unfortunately the time is more limited than they think, because her wings start melting / wilting, because the snow machine, the pressure on the ice wasn't consistent enough, and so it's not getting enough ice out, so she's getting too warm, and they have to rush her back. Tink and Vidya, again, Vidya being the good girlfriend that she is, scoops up her sister-in-law, and they take off running, or flying, to get her back to the Winterwood, to which Lord Mallory is waiting on the other side for her. And he very gently, very daddy-like, he helps her up, he helps her lift her wings, helps her stretch them out, and just get cold again. Then, very gently, chastises them for being reckless and careless, and if they genuinely loved one another, then they would want the other to be safe and not risk hurting themselves. And as Tinkerbell, like the woman she is, goes to challenge Lord Mallory, a man significantly bigger than her, as she goes to challenge him, Queen Clarion comes in and explains why the rule is in place, and the fact that it was two lovers, but we learn Queen Clarion declared this rule to be in place after a pair of star-crossed lovers ended up going back and forth too much, and one of them got incurably injured, and everyone decided it was just best for everyone involved that we weren't going back and forth anymore. It just wasn't worth it. It wasn't worth the safety of pixies. Now, everyone, freshly chastised, gets sent off. Lord Mallory, with his big old owl, who I don't know the name of off the top of my head, I didn't write down, swoops in, knocks the snow machine off the cliff, but unfortunately Tink, she's too good at her job, and the snow machine is actually fine, and now being infinitely fueled by the ice from the half-frozen waterfall, it starts a snowstorm. But now, all of the ones at Pixie Hollow is being threatened by a snowstorm. Which we learn if the pixie dust tree gets completely frozen over, then, it would just kill them. And not even right away, it'd be a very slow death, because they'd have no access to pixie magic, they'd have no access to anything, and they would just kind of die. Stakes. Grim. We love to see it. And all the fairies, they start panicking, they start hauling ass. Everyone is helping all the animals who wouldn't survive in the snow, get them indoors. Tink's house is full of, like, mice. There's a mouse named Cheese, by the way. I haven't mentioned it, but he's also been there, like Clank and Bobble. But he's in there with all of his mouse friends and, like, little guys. While all the other fairies are doing that, all the Tinkers are trying to get enough blankets to cover the pixie dust tree in an attempt to keep it safe, but the winds are getting too bad, they're getting flown off everywhere, and it's just, everything's going crazy. It's just wild. But then Tink, in helping more animals into her house, comes across the flower that Perry saved. In the big dance number that her friends did, Rosetta gave Perry a flower, and Perry, being the frost fairy that she is, encrusted it with frost. It's just a cool, look at that. Tinkerbell comes across it, the frost has now melted, and the flower is perfectly fine, still perfectly alive. This gives her an idea. She grabs her jacket and flies as fast as she can to go to the winter side, to get to Perry. Trying to navigate the storm as much as she can, she gets hit out of the air, but now on the winter side she can't fly anyway, so she flings on her jacket, finds her sister, and asks them, hey, what does frost do? Perry saved a flower and is still alive. Why? Why is that? And they tell him that, like, frost protects living things. It creates a barrier to encapsulate warmth so that cold air can't seep into it to kill things. And she's like, okay, I need your help. Perry, her two girlfriends, and Tink rush back to the pixie dust tree trying to cover it in frost, but there's only the three of them, so it's not working. And then Lord Mallory shows up on his owl with reinforcements, including this one that romances Rosetta, as she deserves, might I add. Good for her. But they all show up and they're able to cover the tree in frost to shield from the snowstorm, and they don't know if they did it. They try their best, Everyone's huddled inside and they just have to wait to see if the storm passes. All the warm weather fairies are really cold. And Daddy Mallory takes off his cloak, wraps it around Queen Clarion in order to help keep her warm. And as he turns to walk away, dramatic reveal, one of his wings is ripped in half, revealing a second secret of the wings. They were the star-crossed lovers of ye olden times. And it's juicy. And it's obvious, especially once you're an adult and know what to look for. It's obvious, but it's good. It's a good reveal. And I don't know if it's the framing, I don't know if it's the music or what, but like, I saw this and I went, just by myself. I knew it was coming. I know how the story goes. And still, I was like, yes, dramatics. Anyway, the reveal still hits, okay? Eventually, I'm going on and on about this one. I'm sorry. We'll see how much I cut out. But eventually the storm does pass. The frost begins to melt. And everyone celebrates. Except for Tink, who is still in her cold weather jacket. And when her friends come to check on her as to why she didn't fly up with the rest of them, she takes off her jacket to reveal the third secret of the wings. Tinkerbell ripped her wing in half. Reveal after reveal after reveal. And her friends are like really loving and understanding. And it's just sweet. I like it. And then her and Perry's wings, they still shimmer. So almost like a secret handshake, they lift their wings up to press them back to one another. And bam. Magic. And a fourth secret of the wings is revealed. The Sisterly magic fixed Tink's wings. Do they explain why? Absolutely not. Do we need them to explain why? Absolutely not. Just know it works, okay? Don't question it. That's not the point here. But Tink's wings are fixed and they all live happily ever after. And they learn that coating your wings in frost will help protect them. Then I believe it only helps the warm weather fairies into the cold weather land. But it helps protect them, which means that our fairies can now go to the winter woods whenever they want and then go back and forth, and our girls can be sisters. Yay! And it means that our girl Rosetta can, like, have a hunky ice boyfriend, as she deserves. Yay! Have fun! Her and Queen Clarion, as they both deserve! I don't know how that recap went so long. I'm so sorry. I just love talking about it, you know what I mean? Like, can you tell that I love these movies? And, like, I know I mentioned this, but it is really satisfying to watch these in order. So, like, at this point, I'm attached. Rosetta getting a boyfriend, I'm like, yes, queen, yes, you go. I can't shake my head because my hat's gonna fall off. But imagine I'm shaking my head. I'm like, yes, go off, queen. I'm so happy for her. She's also my favorite, so, like, that makes sense. But yeah, I don't know. You don't lose anything watching them out of order, but watching them in order, it makes you feel like you're, like, part of the gang. You're one of the girls, you know? And I love them. I love these movies so much. But I've been talking enough. Let's get on to the ratings. When I Showed My Children Alone, 5 out of 5. I don't think that there really is anything that I would need to explain to my imaginary 6-year-old children. I think everything is set up. I think everything is followed through. I think that there is nothing that could confuse them emotionally. And not just that, but Tinkerbell breaks the rules and gets punished in multiple different ways, right? And it's not just that, but, like, she toes the rules a lot, and they keep telling her, like, hey, you're gonna get injured. Hey, you're gonna get injured. Hey, you're gonna get injured. The same way that kids kind of toe those rules. And they follow through with it. She gets injured. And as a kid, that reveal, like, hits. You know? Like, it hits. It gets you. I think that's just a really good example of, like, you might get away with it the first time, but that doesn't mean you're gonna get away with it forever. You probably won't. You're probably gonna break your wing. I don't know. I think that's cool. And yes, I know that it gets fixed and everything's fine. But I think the dramatic reveal is enough for a kid, to stick with someone. So, I think my imaginary children would very much like this movie, and I would like to show it to them. 5 out of 5. Do I want a doll? Another 5 out of 5. I'm not gonna lie to you. I really want a little figure of Tinkerbell in her snow outfit, but specifically with her, like sneaking around somewhere. I think that would be so freaking sick. That'd be so cute. I could hide her behind something and she's, like, peeking out around. She's in her little snow thing. That's so cute. So cute. And not just her, but also Fairy Mary. I would kill someone. With these hands. With these two hands right here, I would kill someone in cold blood for a little figure of Fairy Mary in her little snow outfit. Look at her! She came on screen and I audibly gasped out loud. She is so cute. I can't get this urine through. What's happening?
Maybe you should go first. Oh, next.
Oh my god, I need Fairy Mary. Oh my god.
Oh, would you look at that?
I love her so much. She's so cute.
Feels good.
They didn't need to go this hard for her. I love her. Oh my god. This is the chase. This is the chase of this movie's blind box collection. And I stand by that. I really love all of their little winter outfits, but call-outs, Rosetta.
Oh, I'm so glad we got to see them.
Hi.
Rosetta always serving with the fits.
Oh, wow, that's perfect.
Fairy Mary and Queen Clarion, obvious standouts in the last minutes of the movie. I do wish that Perry had gotten a second warm weather outfit, you know what I mean? In the excuse of Tink got a cold weather outfit to go to the winter woods, she should get a warm weather outfit to go, you know what I mean? I think that would have been really cute, but it's a very small nitpick, but I think it feeds into my bigger nitpick, which is I want more. Like, I wanted more of our girls in their cute little snow outfits, because look at them, look at how cute they are. They're precious. I love them, and we only see them at the very end of the movie, and that sucks. I think we should see them a little bit throughout the movie. I think it's just a shame. I just think it's a shame. Again, it's in the grand scheme of things, it's a very small nitpick, but I want them all in their little snow outfits as little ornaments, and I want to hide them in my Christmas tree. Is that so wrong of me? No. Next. Is my heart a flutter? 2 out of 5. So, I don't have a sister. I have brothers. I have multiple brothers. But Perry and Tink's relationship really, really is very sweet. It's really sweet. And I think having them get to show each other, each other's homes, it's a huge standout. It's showing us how much they care about one another, and in action showing what they would do for one another to get to experience things that they wouldn't normally get to experience. And I think that's very lovely. I think it's sweet. And so it's a 2 because it wasn't like a full flutter, but it was a flitter. It's cute. It's cute. Next is my go back packed. 1 out of 5. Okay, so hear me out on this one. I know I said how much I want to live somewhere where it snows and how much I'm enamored by snow and how it's kind of fake in my head, but because I don't have that emotional connection to snow, I don't care about the winter woods. I don't. I actually need to ask my boyfriend about this, because he grew up in the woods where it snowed, and I wonder if he would have an not emotional reaction, but more of a twinge in his heart seeing the winter woods and seeing them traverse around with the lake and everything. I just don't. So with that being said, the only place that really stood out to me was the library. And I'm not saying that because I'm like, oh, I need to pick a place. No, I genuinely really like this library, and I'm going to use it as inspiration for my one day future dream library. I think that would be really fun and really cool. You know, the one where I'm going to hang the hot air balloon from, that one. Yeah, I think I'm going to use this as inspiration. I just think it's really cool. I think my only complaint is that I wish it was bigger, because a library in a tree is sick as hell, honestly, but it is what it is. It's a 1 out of 5. I liked it enough for it to be mentioned. Next. How hard did I cry? 2 out of 5. 2 out of 5. Tinkerbell revealing that she broke her wings but didn't tell anyone because it was more important for the good of the pixie dust tree to be taken care of. That's good. It's really good. And I feel silly getting emotional about a children's movie, but I'll be honest with you, it pulls at the heartstrings. Like, she gets hurt not because of some self-sacrificing anything, because she gets hurt, and she gets hurt in secret. Like, we see it happen, we see her turn around and look and have a moment of panic, and you can kind of see in her face, nothing I can do. Puts on her jacket, and she just keeps going because the good of the pixie dust tree trumps everything right now. A broken wing's a broken wing. There is no cure for it. I can't think about that right now. There's more important things I have to do, and that's just, I don't know. It's not self-sacrificing as much as it is, like, there's bigger picture going on here. You know, I'm part of something bigger. Like, she can mourn her wings later, as long as she's also not mourning the loss of the pixie dust tree, you know? And I don't know, it gets me. That gets me. It makes, and again, part of it is because I'm watching these in order, and I'm attached to these characters, but I'm like, oh, my girl grew up, you know? So, 2 out of 5. 2 out of 5. Next, did I dance in my seat? 1 out of 5. The intro music felt very, very generic fairy. Just kind of, Alright, it still evokes a sense of wonder, I guess, but it's not, it didn't stand out, and by the middle of the movie, I kind of forgot that it was there because of the song The Great Divide, which had, like, taken my attention. I really like that song. And I will say the closing song, hate it. I hate this thing. I felt affronted when they came on. I'll be so for real with you.
Cute. The music doesn't, I don't like the music. Yeah, I don't like the music. What is this pop Christmas shit? What is this pop Christmas shit? And the credits are ugly? Okay. It won't be a deduction, but it's close.
Like, it jump scared me, and it really ruined the vibes of this sweet, emotional, like, ending that was happening. Because it's this weird wannabe pop song that has influences of Christmas, but doesn't have the balls to actually be a Christmas song. You know what I mean? It just kind of has bells in the background. And I'm like, why? Why is it there? I need to check. I know Lucy Hale tried to have a singing career. Is that her? Was that her song? Or The Great Divide. She might be singing The Great Divide. I'll check and I'll let you know if it is. It's the same fucking song. They're both the same fucking song. They're both sung by the McLean sisters. It's the same song. It's just the one in the credits has that like synthetic poppy sound. But The Great Divide I actually really liked. It's the song that happens in the middle while they're doing the culture exchange. And how The Great Divide isn't as big as we thought, you know. Very sweet, very, very sweet. And it's kind of the only reason why I gave it a 1, because the opening song being generic and the closing song being really affronting, it really put me back down to a 0. But I like Great Divide, so it got 1 point for that. I hate it here. Next, how evil is evil. 1 out of 5. The conflict in this is that the winter fairies and the warm weather fairies can't cross because it's too dangerous. And that's not evil, that's practical. And it's strict. And it feels bad because Perry and Tink want to spend time together, but it never feels fucked up. You know what I mean? Which is what I look for in these things, in case you forgot. I want it to kind of be a little fucked up. It feels like strict parents who are like gently correcting their children, you know? And I really like that. I like that Daddy Mallory is shown to be caring, albeit strict. Sorry. And when ignore me. And when Perry and Tink do get in trouble for crossing the border, they're never belittled. It's just a very stern reminder, hey, man, we're not playing with you. This is for your own safety. Like, come on. And it's good conflict. It's really good conflict. It's really good stakes. But it's never evil. And because the stakes are good, that's why it gets a 1. But, next. Would this be made today? 0 out of 5, nothing controversial about it. I could see nothing being changed. It's just being putting out, which is shocking to me a little bit, because normally when movies score so low, like a full 0 out of 5, usually I can find them just be like a little boring, you know, that mass appeal type vibe that we've had for a while, but that's not the case with any of these Tinkerbell movies. They just feel like genuine, timeless movies. And part of me is like, man, I kind of wish I could rate them higher, but I can't. Like, that's the name of the game. They're wonderful, timeless movies, and I like them a lot. And then deductions, none. I don't think none of these movies got deductions. I'm just putting that out there in case I forget to mention it. But for a grand total score of 17, which feels right. It feels right. The things that it does that are good are really good, but then everything else is kind of middle ground or mediocre. So I think a 17, yeah. Next, The Pirate Fairy, 2014, the year I graduated high school. Because this came out the year I graduated high school, I actually didn't see it till a few years later, because I saw it come up on my Tumblr, and I was like, what is this? I don't remember this movie. So fun fact, I saw this for the first time in college as a full-grown adult. Anyway, next, this movie is made for vibes and vibes only, and I kind of love that. I love a lot of the ideas that it presented. I love the wanting and the attempt to expand the fairy brand. But this movie felt a little flat to me. And I don't think that's a hot take, but let me explain anyway. So, this movie starts on the ground, not following Tink, but following a new fairy named Zarina, as she takes a morning stroll on her way to work as a dust collector fairy. Which is cool. I actually really like this opening. We'll talk about it in a second. You know, everyone's kind of commenting, like, do you ever know, like, a dust collector fairy to run out of dust? Like, why is she walking? That's kind of weird. Yes, I am quoting Rosetta. But, I don't know, she's just kind of a weird dude. And, I don't know, she's cool. And she loves being a dust collector. She loves her job, and there's nothing wrong with that. And at work, at the job she loves so much, she's actually chosen to help use the blue pixie dust. Do you remember from Tinkerbell and the Lost Treasure, the blue pixie dust from the Harvest Moon? Yeah. So we get to see how that works, which is really cool. Again, continuity. Sick. But we learn that they use exactly 23 grains of blue pixie dust to revitalize the tree. Now, is this something they do every day? Is it something they do once a week? Unclear, not important. It is just something that has to be done. Now, Zarina loves dust, and she starts asking questions. Why 23 exactly? What if we added more? What if we added less? What if we used it for something else? Are there other colors of pixie dust? And Fairy Gary, the head of the pixie dust fairies, calls her the Tinkerbell of pixie dust, which is, he does not mean to take as a compliment, but personally I would take it as a compliment, because again, she started the Industrial Revolution. She revitalized how fairies work as a whole. What are you talking about? What do you mean? You're saying that as an insult, whatever. But so instead of hearing out Zarina on her ideas of like, hey, can we do multicolored pixie dust? He just shuts her down and tells her there is no way to discover other dust. What we have is it, period. Which, again, you know Tinkerbell, who was also told the exact same thing, but whatever, I digress. Industrial Revolution, whatever. But he tells her that. To which she goes home, and we learn that she has made a lot of discoveries with pixie dust, and she stole, like, a grain of blue pixie dust. Baller, honestly. And she's been pretty successful so far. She's able to make yellow dust, which helps her coat her hands with light to bend light like a light fairy, or like a light talent. She's made pink pixie dust, which allows her to grow plants like a garden fairy. It's really cool. It's huge discoveries, and now we know why she had to walk to work this morning. She didn't have any pixie dust because she was using it all for these experiments. Which, again, cool, environmental storytelling. We love it. We love to see it. But it turns out the couple of grains of blue pixie dust that she stole, she actually ends up spilling on accident, and she almost destroys the entire fairy dust depot with a plant that went rogue and got real big. And while she is proud about the making of the new dust, because keep in mind she also showed Tinkerbell this, because she's like, no one else will understand. Like, she's proud of it, but she loves her job. She loves being a dust fairy. And seeing that she had ruined the depot, she feels awful about it. She volunteers. I will come in early. I will stay late. I will do everything in my power to fix this. I am so sorry. And fucking Fairy Gary tells her no? Oh my god. He says you've gone too far and that she is no longer a dust keeper, which is an insane reaction. Insane reaction. Tinkerbell ruined all of spring, and Fairy Mary went and gave her a hug. What are you talking about? And she was given the opportunity to fix everything. What are you talking about, Fairy Gary? Fight me. Meet me outside. How about that? Sorry. But no, I will fight you, Fairy Gary. I will step on you. God. It's such an insane reaction. Especially in a society where your job is your identity and something that you find incredibly fulfilling. It is magically fulfilling. It is chosen for you, the thing that would fuel your soul the most to allow you to be the best version of yourself, and it's being stripped from you for what we see, no warning. Insane. Fairy Gary, I'm gonna step on you. Jesus Christ. And I wish that we had lingered on this longer, but we don't. She just flies away. She's just gone. And it's like, hold on. What do you mean? She's just a factionless fairy now. Where is she going? Is she gonna go live in the sewer? What is happening here? And that's it. And that's the opening. Opening. What? It's crazy. It's a crazy choice. A crazy way to open the movie. And there really is something fascinating about having Z be a foil for Tinkerbell. Someone who wants to push the boundaries and innovate, and who feels that call to create something new. But while Tinkerbell was met with support, her fellow Tinkers and Fairy Mary and her friends outside of the Tinkers, while she felt that support, Z just got shut out and shunned. And that's fascinating. That is so interesting to me, of what you could do with that. But we don't linger, and then we jump a year later. We jump to something called the Four Seasons Festival, which we have not heard about before now, but which is fine. Again, we didn't know about the Winter Woods, and there are plot holes in the Winter Woods, and we're okay with that. We frost over them with a little bit of magic frost, okay? Like, we don't look at those. Here, I also want to frost over it with some magic frost. I wish, again, it left me wanting more. I want to know more. What do you mean there's this thing that you guys do every year? What time of year is it? Because we have now broken away from the seasonal cycle. So what time of year is it? Why are we doing this exactly? It feels like a late summer thing. Could be. That would make sense. But why are we here? You know what I mean? Like, I'm looking around all these fairies, and they're here to look at something, and I don't know what it is. I think it allows the fairies to show off their talents, but if we're in a society that shuns innovation, what exactly are they showing off? If they're not making anything new. You know what I mean? What is the implication? Or is it simply after Zarina is kicked out and made homeless, it's only after then that we embrace innovation and are asking people to create new things? Like, what? I know that they did not think about the implications of this, but I am. Because you're asking me to, because every other movie, all these implications have lined up, basically. It's winter, it's, you know, we go through Tinkerbell's first year as a fairy, so there's all these things that she doesn't know that she's experiencing for the first time, that we get to experience for the first time. So it's like, we couldn't do New Year? Is it New Year? It could be. I don't know. Anyway, Zarina, the diva she is, she comes and she crashes the event with her rainbow magic pixie dust, and she starts moving in the shadows, moving in secret. She makes poppies rapidly grow behind them, which the Queen Rosetta, is the first to realize. And because of her, she grabs all of her friends, shoves them in the box that they were preparing to show off for their segment of the festival. She shoves them in there, locks them in, because she realizes, oh, that's poppies. Poppies are going to put everyone to sleep. And sure enough, the poppies explode, pollen cascades everywhere, and starts putting everyone to sleep. The only other fairy, or should I say sparrowman, get it right, he's a sparrowman, the only other sparrowman who is safe from the poppies is actually, it's Clank, because he had to pee, and honestly, that's so me. I have to pee all the time. Like, genuinely, he's so real for that. I have to pee all the time, and I also miss things because of my tiny bladder. So I get it, Clank, I do. But because of that, he's able to let our girlies out of the lockbox, they would have just died, but we're not going to think about that. We're not thinking about implications. Okay, we can't do it. But he lets our girlies out, and they fly off to follow Zarina. They see that she has stolen the vial of blue pixie dust. Which, again, if last year Tinkerbell made the most blue pixie dust ever, why is this one vial all that's left? It's supposed to last them 8 years. Are you telling me that it's been 8 years? Again. Whatever. It's fine. It's fine. They fly after Zarina, who apparently has all of the blue pixie dust in a vial this big. Whatever. Clank, the king that he is, actually stays behind to continuously pedal the snow machine, the updated snow machine, so that way the frost fairies who are visiting for the festival don't melt. Clank is so sweet. He's such a hero. He's a wonderful man. And if he wasn't in a deeply committed relationship with Bobble, I would low-key ship him with Perry. I don't know if that's controversial to say, but I'm not taking it back. Anyway, our girlies go flying after Zarina. They follow her to a little dinghy full of pirates, and we get to see our girlies in full force use their talents as a team. Like, they're rocking the boat. They're using winds. They're using blinding lights off reflections. It's really cool and really concise. And we see them successfully snatch the vial very quickly. Very effective. We love it. Very Charlie's Angels of them, if I so dare to say, which I do. And the only reason why they fail is because Zarina is able to get off a single sneak attack using her rainbow pocket sand, covering all of them in rainbow pixie dust, shoving them through a waterfall, meaning their wings are all wet, and they're now trapped on the other side of this waterfall. And we get one of the best collections of our girlies in this entire series. It's a spoiler alert, we're not there yet. I need to tell you the full story, and then we can go to the rankings. But, like, spoiler alert, if you want to look it up now, you can. No, screw that. I'm putting it on screen. Look at them. I love them. They're so cute. God. It's not my favorite collection of the girlies, but it is up there. I think it's second. But not only do they have new fits, they got new talents. All of their talents got switched around because of the rainbow pocket sand. Now, Tink is a water fairy. Silver Mist is a fast flyer. Vidya is a tinker. Rosetta is an animal talent. Fawn is a light talent. And Iridessa is a garden talent. Whew. And you don't need to remember that. Don't worry. You do not need to remember that. It will come up naturally, and I will be the one to remind you who is what where, okay? Trust me, I got you. Just know everyone's mixed up every which way, okay? And our girlies have to learn their new talents, and it does not go well whatsoever. It doesn't help that they're, like, actively trapped behind a waterfall. So they might as well just be in jail, and the key is in the cell with them, but they have oven mitts taped to their hands. You know what I mean? Like, that is the level of buffoonery that is happening here. But eventually, they are able to escape the blasted waterfall, and they make it out onto the beach, where Rosetta, being the animal talent that she is, she ends up falling onto an egg. And because she's an animal talent, it immediately hatches. And we see this gorgeous little baby croc who sees her for the mother that she is and is now permanently imprinted on her. Which, again, the implications, we're not going to go there, but just know that they live in my head, okay? Anyway, our girlies, they bamboozle their way around, but they eventually find their way to the pirate ship, and we have a bit of a hard time. I need you to know, they never stop having a hard time sneaking around, okay? Oven mitts are still on them. They'll be on for the rest of the movie, okay? But they're sneaking around. They're trying to find the blue dust. Not going great. They get outed and captured, and then escaped and captured a few times. But while they're doing that, sneaking, capturing, evading capture, blah, blah, blah. Again, it's just like this weird cycle. While they're doing that, they discover Captain Zarina's plan, which is to create her own fairy dust tree inside of Skull Rock. Famous Skull Rock. So that her pirate crew will have an unlimited supply of fairy dust. So that way they can fly to the second star on the right and go to the mortal world, or the mainland, I should say. Go to the mainland and pirate their hearts out. Which, again, how did they get here? Is it Peter Pan? Because Peter Pan can't fly without Tinkerbell's pixie dust. So they're not, like, graduated lost boys. How are they here? You know what I mean? Again, we're ignoring the implications. We just have to. But back to Zarina. She is able to... She's been nursing this pixie dust tree, and using the blue dust, she's finally able to get the pixie dust flowing. And her first mate, James, are able to get the baby tree up and working. And by her and James, I mean James is also just there. And she is able to explain to him how it works. Again, the humans only hear bells. I don't know if she knows that. He can only hear bells, and he's kind of like playing along, and they're doing this weird game of charades, and there's this weird awkward sexual tension that I don't know how it got here, but it's there. And he is like leaning over and like flirting with her and giving her eyes, and it's like, I don't want to be here. What's happening? What is happening? But he's playing along, and then once James learns that as long as they have the blue dust, they'll have an unlimited amount of pixie dust, which is not true according to the lore. They have to get more blue dust every 8 years. But James doesn't know that. He thinks they have unlimited pixie dust, and once he learns that, he reveals his true colors, and voila, he's secretly Captain Hook. Oh, I don't know why I made him French. He's been Captain Hook this entire time. And he takes Zarina and shoves her into a lantern as a prisoner, which... it's low-key hard, okay? It's cool. That would be a cool... it would be a cool figurine to have, okay? Again, to hang up on my ceiling next to the hot air balloon. I just think it'd be cool. Fucked up, but that's not the point here. That's not what I'm asking. I'm just saying it's cool. Anyway, back to Zarina. Zarina getting used by Captain Hook is so good in the worst way possible, okay? Because there are so many moments. Like, I know I mentioned the flirting and the giving the eyes, but there are so many moments where it feels intimate and it makes me uncomfy as, like, a full-grown woman. It's not overt in the way where I wouldn't, like, let a child watch the movie. It's still a children's movie. But being a full-grown woman, I'm like... I know that man and I don't like him. I know him. I've met him. I've dated him. You know what I mean? You, like... me with my fully cooked frontal lobe... I can very clearly see the power imbalance that they're using for inspiration, and I think they do it well for the most part. I genuinely think that they do it well, because Zarina is very clearly feeling lonely, abandoned by her family and her village and her friends and her entire support system in her time of need. Of course, a man like this would see someone vulnerable that he could use to his own benefit and would swoop in. Of course he would. He would swoop in right away, like, just by giving her his complete and undivided attention. Like, she was powerless against it. And that's really cool. That's really cool. I like that, okay? Like, that's fucked. And then he gets what he wants and just shoves her in a lamp. That's fucked. Wow. And we'll talk more about that in a second, and the implications. These are the one implications we're not ignoring. But back to our girlies. They're trapped in a crab trap at this point in time. And Rosetta, has been getting on my goddamn last nerves because she's being so mean to this baby croc who just wants to love her. Look at his face. Look at him. And she's like, no, go away. I'm not your mother. And he's like, Mama. And Rosetta, I'm going to step on you. I am. Like, be nice to him. Oh my God. And it fucked that she kind of does what Captain Hook does by, this has to be completely unintentional by the director and the writer, but she low-key does what Captain Hook does by only accepting Baby Croc's love once he could give her something that benefited her, and that is, i.e. letting her out of the crab trap that they're currently stuck in. Only then is she like, my baby, and is that fucked up? Does that make me uncomfy? Yes. Yes, it did. But again, ignoring the implications of that. Oh my God. But the difference is Rosetta is supposed to be a good guy, so, like, not only is she super grateful, but now she's grown super attached to Baby Croc, so she's now, at the drop of a hat, she's accepted, I am mother, this is my baby, and she kind of ate with that, honestly, and could the flip have been done better? Yes. Should it have been done better? Yes, but I'm just glad that I can love Rosetta again, okay? But we gotta speed this up. We gotta get to the fairies and their full pirate regalia to fight full-grown adult pirates, okay? We gotta get to the action scene. So, how do we get there? So, the pirates use pixie dust, they fly, blah, blah, blah. The pixies are able to get the blue dust, blah, blah, blah. They try to make an escape for it, until Captain Hook is like, ha! I have your friend. This man is an Englishman. I don't know why he's French, but he is today. But, I have your friend. Give me back the dust and no one gets hurt. And he does fully drop her. They do save her, and we have the wave 2 of the battle. The girlies get into their full pirate regalia. Look at them, they're precious. I love them, actually. These fits are fire. And they fight, they win, they get the dust, they go home. The pirates should be dead if we think about it. Tink learns to use her water powers, lifts up a giant wave, crashes it down onto them, and washes away all the pixie dust, and thus sinking them into the water. And the amount of water she lifts, they should be dead. But we're not going to think about that. And then, of course, because there's Captain Hook and a crocodile, of course, Baby Croc is the ticking croc from Peter Pan. And he swallowed a clock halfway through the movie. And now he's just chasing Captain Hook, setting up their lifelong beef, completely forgetting his mother as she waves him off. They grow up so fast. And Zarina's welcome home by everyone, including Fairy Gary, who I still want to fight. Bitch, like, God. He doesn't even apologize. Oh my God. Okay, he doesn't apologize, and he scoops her up like a father figure, saying how much he missed her, and I'm here like, Fairy Gary, shut the fuck up. You're the reason why this happened. You're the reason why she accepted any crusty-ass man's love to begin with. I can't yell, it's after midnight, but like, as the father figure, you tossed her out at the first sign of conflict. This is your fault, Fairy Gary. God, what's the matter with you? Saying how much you missed her. No. Oh my God. I'm saying it now, Fairy Gary, you're the reason why I can't be a Dustkeeper Fairy. Not because I have no interest in it, but because of you specifically. I hate you. And I couldn't be an Alchemy Talent Fairy for the same reasons. The exact same reasons. Because of Fairy Gary. I hate that man. But with all that being said, our heroes are home. They're able to restart the Four Seasons games. Zarina is able to show off her pixie dust findings, which she doesn't even do well because everyone else was asleep throughout the movie, so they don't know that the girls switch powers, but she shows switching them back as if it's a magical thing. And I get, for us, it's a big reveal, but for the other fairies, they don't know. They're like, okay, cool, you changed their outfit, you know what I mean? But whatever, Queen Clarion declares that she has found a new talent, and what does she want to name this new thing? To which she says, alchemy. Credits. If my constant bitching wasn't clear, this is my least favorite movie out of all of them. I think that's fair to say. I like a lot, and it sucks because I like so many things about this movie, but it still ends up feeling bland somehow. Like, I love Zarina being a pirate. That's so fun. Her going off pirates because she felt lonely. Love that. I love the idea of the fairies switching talents and needing to figure out how to learn their new talents. Not just because it's new, but because their brains are wired for their talents. You know what I mean? These new things don't come naturally to them. Because in their hearts, they are still their original talents. Like, for instance, Tinkerbell still wants to tinker, but her brain is just kind of running slow, right? Fawn is still there helping Rosetta give motherly advice because how many babies has she hatched, you know? Them having that still ingrained in them, even with their talents, which I think is so fascinating. And they don't do enough with it besides a couple gags. Are you kidding me? Are you kidding me? And like that partnered with Zarina going against the grain to create something new and being shunned for it. There is something so rich and juicy there about being true to yourself, but in a much more rich and subtle way than how the movie does it. And I'm not going to do a rewrite for this movie, not in this video. Not in this video. I just don't have time. I'm tempted, but I do not have time. I do not have time for it. But I think the very best way that I can describe what it feels like to watch this movie, like, it feels as if the woman who pitched this story was not in the same room as the man who wrote the script, right? And I have no proof that that is the case. I don't think it's the case because the director is a woman and she's listed as one of the writers and one of the producers, you know what I mean? So, like, I genuinely don't think that that's the case, and, like, a lot of people who wrote also helped produce, you know what I mean? So I have no idea, but that's what it feels like to me. And it just feels like something is missed in translation. I don't know what that is. And there are more moments in this movie than any other movie that feel like filler. They don't add to the story. The other movies, sure, have some moments, but nothing quite like this. And the lore expansion goes crazy. There's so much that they add in this movie, but none of it feels fleshed out. And I'm like, how? You have four movies before you that show you how it's done. How did you miss, you know? And what do you mean that fairies can be kicked out of their talent? What, that is world-breaking reveal that you just sweep under the rug to get to the more interesting parts of the story, the parts that you think are more interesting, but that breaks the lore that we know. When these movies have been so good about building on the previous lore, what are you doing? God. And do you mean that no one went out looking for her? Did Fairy Gary not feel even a little bit bad in his soul that he kicked her out? Did he not go searching for her? If he's meant to be this fatherly figure? Would he not? And what happened to the other pixie dust tree? What happened to the pixie dust tree that they leave behind? It's still in... It is still in Skull Rock. Are we just not going to talk about that? Are we just going to ignore that? And what is the Four Seasons Festival? No one ever explained, because it's meant for us to show off our talents, but if we're being punished for innovating, why are we having it? You know what I mean? There's that deep level of irony that I don't think anyone noticed but me. Again, ignoring the implications of everything, let's get on to the ratings. Would I show it to my children alone? I gave it a 3 out of 5, specifically because of the power imbalance between Zarina and James. I would just want to be there for that twist. I don't know how a kid would see that, you know, again, because these children are imaginary. If they're older, you know, I'm sure that they, I'm sure they understand more, but especially at, like, a young age. And yes, children are smart, especially emotionally. I always stand by that. Children are emotionally smart. And I think that they would understand that Captain Hook is evil, but would they have the words to describe how and why, you know? And that is something, personally, that I would want my kids to be able to put words to. So... 3 out of 5. Next. Do I want a doll? Yeah, 5 out of 5. I need all of them in their little pirate outfits. I do. Now, special call-outs to no one's surprise, Zarina in her little pirate outfit. Naturally leagues above the others, but she had a full year to put it together, so that makes sense. I would honestly be more worried if she got ate up by everyone else. So, next, Rosetta, like always, my queen. Even though she was getting on my goddamn nerves being mean to baby Crocky, I was getting ready to disown her, but she brings it back in the end. Barely, but I would kill someone with these bare hands, like I said. With these bare hands. I would kill someone for a figure of her charging on Crocky into battle. Like, you can't look at that and not tell me that that's Mother. And a special call out to Iridessa. They treated my girl good. They gave her a lot of love with the pink and the yellow and the head. Oh, mwah. Honestly, I really liked it. And, like, all the girls look good. But those were my 3 personal favorites. Next is my heart flutter. 0 out of 5. I don't think my heart fluttered once in this entire movie. I'll be so for real with you. It was predictable in the way kids' movies are, which is totally fine. Again, I'm 29. I shouldn't be taken by surprise by kids' movies, but stranger things have happened. And you know, it's just not my favorite, as I'm sure as I'm sure you could tell. Next is my go bag packed. 1 out of 5. As much as I complain, what is the Four Seasons Festival and what do they do there? What you think would be a basic answer? Whatever. As much as I complain about it and I'm left wondering about it, I want to go. I do in fact want to go. I want to sit in those stands. I want to get some popcorn and I want to watch people do their fun little thing. I do. But yeah, it's so interesting and we don't get any answers and I just want to know what's going on. I really want to go. I'm just fascinated by the festival though. That's it. Anyway, next, how hard did I cry? 0 out of 5, no comment. Next, did I dance in my seat? 0.5 out of 5. So this one is a little complicated. So I'm really sad that I didn't like the opening number because I really, really love the animation for it. I think it's really clever in a subtle way that we open with Zarina walking and these shots of her looking up as fairies flying by, because every other movie we have seen the other point of view of flying, looking down, and again, that's something you probably wouldn't catch unless you're watching them all back to back, but that is the level of detail that I expect in these movies, right? And not only that, but getting to see Pixie Hollow from a new point of view is really cool. Again, lore expansion go crazy in this movie, but unfortunately, I just really don't like the song. It's really on the nose of wanting to be who you are and just embrace your inner light. You know what I mean? It's just, we get it. It's on the nose. That's the point of the movie. I understand. And I feel like that's normally the joy of Tinkerbell movies, is that they're not on the nose. They tell and they show, but they never hit you with a pop anthem telling you exactly what the moral of the movie is going to be the second the movie opens. At least not that overtly. I don't know. And I think part of it is also it has more of a poppy sound. It feels like it's trying to be more hip. And I don't like that. But I will say, it did get the 0.5 because of the little pirate jig. They have a little pirate jig in the middle of the movie. And it's fine. It's fun. I did a little head bob. You know? So, I did feel like it went on a little bit too long. But I will honor my little head bob by giving it a 0.5. So 0.5 out of 5. Next, how evil is evil? I put a 4 out of 5. Now I'm just going to read to you what I wrote word for word. A man taking advantage of a woman to use her assets for his own personal agenda, plus Fairy Gary kicking Zarina out of the pixie dust fairy, plus Fairy Gary kicking Zarina out of the pixie dust fairies at her first major offense. Both pretty fucked up. Both very short-sighted. And both stinky as hell. So 4 out of 5 for evil. We got a high score in the evil category for once. Next, would this be made today? I gave it a 1 out of 5. Hear me out. So I think that if this was made today, that they would tone down the weird flirty nature between Zarina and Captain Hook, which I think would be a shame. Like I said, it is completely mild enough where it is safe to put in a kid's movie, okay? It is not overt, it is not extreme, it's not crude, it's not crass in any way, shape, or form. And I think it adds a lot to the depth of the story. It helps these moments feel a little more mature, which I think is important because this is an adult man talking to a young woman. You know what I mean? Even if they are technically the same age. We don't know how Pixie's age. Not important. Not important to the story because no matter what, he is in a position of power over her because he's bigger than her. He can pick her up and put her in a lantern, okay? Which he does! So I think that tension between the two of them adds a lot of depth to the story, and I could see Disney wanting to water it down and make it less overt and make Hook more of a mustache twirling villain, you know what I mean? A little more cartoony, and I think that would make the story even worse. I think that's going the wrong direction. So for that, it got a 1 out of 5. And again, 0 deductions, which leads us to a grand total of a really pitiful 14.5. Yeah, it feels right to be that low because, I don't know. I said it at the beginning, this movie has a lot of interesting concepts that it doesn't follow through on. It puts way too many plot holes in the already established lore in a way to serve its own agenda, instead of doing the harder thing, which is building out from the lore that's already established. And that pisses me off personally as a storyteller. And it doesn't think of the implications. What about the implications? God. And I know, I'm just a crazy person on the internet with my flower hat at 1:50 a.m. Like, I understand that I'm probably overthinking this more than anyone else ever has, but what am I here for if not to overthink things at 1:50 in the morning? What else was I put on this earth to do? God. I low-key, I think it would be too much reheating my own nachos, but I do low-key want to make a video, like a rewrite of the Pirate Fairy. Let me know how you feel about that. Let me know in the comments down below. I am interested because I'm not done with this movie. It's unfortunate for me since I just watched it. But, next. Tinkerbell and the Neverbeast, which also came out in 2014. Okay, so, interesting. My summary got deleted. Okay, I still have my scores, and that's fine. That just means that we are going to have... I'm so sorry, crew. We're taking a wild turn, live here in the studio, and going to the Disney Fairies wiki at disneyfairies.fandom.com. Are we still using fandom? I don't remember. But we're here now, and it's 2 a.m., so we are going through... Block! Go away! And we are going to... No! Go away! Okay, and we're going to read the plot synopsis here, because for some reason, my plot synopsis is not in my script. So we're going off the cuff. It's fine. It's fine. Don't worry, I have it all under control. So, Tinkerbell and the Neverbeast. And now I do want to point out, the last movie was not called Tinkerbell and the Pirate Fairy. It was just the Pirate Fairy. And I have thoughts about that we'll get to at the end of this. But we are back to the traditional naming convention, and it is Tinkerbell and the Legend of the Neverbeast. So, this movie follows Fawn, who was my favorite. Like I said, she was my favorite as a kid. And she's the main character of this, which I think is really interesting. And again, we will talk about this at the very end. But Fawn has a... proclivity, is that a word? It is now. She has a proclivity to love a little too much and be a little too trusting with animals that absolutely could kill her, but I can't blame her. I would too. Again, I can't be an animal fairy, but my heart goes out to them. Here's the thing. I would marry an animal sparrowman, which I think I am. My partner, my long-term partner, who I'm absolutely going to marry, works with animals, so it's all making sense. Anyway, the movie opens. Fawn has adopted a baby hawk who had a broken wing. It's actually really cute. The animals in this movie are actually really, really cute. But she helps rehab this baby fox against everyone's judgment because she just has such a big heart, and no matter how big the monster, she just can't put it in her to not help them when they need her, right? I love her to pieces. And with the help of Tinkerbell, they try to hide the hawk. It does not go well. Baby hawk calls Mama Hawk. Mama Hawk comes in. Hawks eat fairies. It's never come up until now, but hawks, fairies. And so, yeah, it doesn't go well. They almost get eaten because Mama comes to reclaim her baby. But, the scout fairies, who we have seen in previous movies, but they haven't been important to the plot, but the scout fairies who are there to call out for danger and to help handle the danger. Think of them as firemen, if you will. Fire people. Fire people sounds like they're lit on fire. Anyway, they come, they're able to fend them off, and they're able to kind of clean everything up, but Fawn still gets reprimanded by Queen Clarion for following her heart and not her head, which is going to be a big theme of this movie. And Fawn promises not just to Queen Clarion, but also to the head scout who helped fend off the hawk, Nyx, that she's going to try to do better, to listen with her head and not her heart. And she goes sad girl and she leaves. But Fawn, on her way home, ends up hearing an unfamiliar roar and decides to head into the forest to investigate. Literally after immediately promising that she wouldn't do that anymore. We have to respect it. She is who she is and she can't be anything different, and I love that for her. But in the depths of the forest, she finds this big, weird-ass looking creature who I personally love, but he is weird. He's real weird looking. And he's laying in a cave beneath the earth, and he's growling, and he's not happy. He's very upset. He's limping. Fawn ends up noticing that he has a thorn stuck in his paw, and that's why he's, like, growling and grumping, and he's, like, having a hard time walking. And she tries to help, and he does not let her, and Fawn is Fawn. Nevertheless, she persists, and eventually she does get it out. Fawn very much is a lover girl, and she will fight for her love. I will say that right now. And she is fascinated by this creature who she has never seen before. She has no idea what he is. And she's a smart girl, and she's trying to figure it out, cataloging all these behaviors, seeing all the things that he's doing, and she's listing off these other animals who have similar behaviors, and she's like, well, he hangs from his tail like a possum, but he's too big to be a possum, and why is he moving these boulders? Because that's all he's doing. He's picking up these boulders and he's kind of moving them into a pile, and nothing is stopping him from this goal of moving these boulders. So she's trying to catalog it, and she grows pretty fond of him. It's actually a very sweet sequence of her trying to help, him being like no, her being like yes, and him being like no, and it's very sweet. Eventually, he warms up to her, because of course she does. She's persistent. She's a lover. I love her. And she ends up naming him Gruff. Look at him. Look at Gruff. He's so cute. And they slowly but surely start building a friendship as she helps him move all of his rocks to make this giant spire. Meanwhile, in Pixie Hollow, Nyx, this gorgeous goth mommy, also heard the roar from a few nights ago, and she is naturally suspicious given Fawn just let loose hawks in Pixie Hollow. So she's trying to figure it out. She's like, I've never heard that before. She's asking all the different animal talent fairies, hey, what would you know about this? What would you know about that? And everyone's like, man, if you're looking for something big and monstrous and kind of scary and something that we shouldn't really be looking into, Fawn's your girl. Like, she's our big animal expert. She's our growl expert, which I think is so interesting. We'll get to it. I just think it's so interesting. I love Fawn so much. So while Fawn is trying to discover who Gruff is by studying his mannerisms, Nyx is asking around looking for information of this mystical creature. What could it be, right? She ends up going to the library where she meets that same librarian, that nerdy little librarian from Secret of the Wings. She ends up meeting him, and he wants to get stepped on so badly. He is down bad for our girl, and he doesn't understand that she's not flirting with him and that she's just kind of like that. She's genuinely there for information, and he's like, ah, damn, I thought we were... Shucks, I thought we had something. Which I think is very cute, personally, and I needed to call it out. But with his help, she is able to start piecing together what this mystical creature might be, right? She's finding all these pages of this creature that awakens every 1,000 years, and it transforms into this beast, and something mysterious and scary happens that could lead to the death of Pixie Hollow, right? On the other side, Fawn is playing with boulders with this big monstrous creature going wow, 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 wow. She ends up introducing him to all of her friends, Tinkerbell, Silvermist, and all of them, and she explains that he's really big, but he's not aggressive, he's just kind of a big softy, and she shows them, like, the spire, and he goes, I don't know what he's doing, he's just, like, this new guy, he's just a guy, and she has this plan to go show him to Queen Clarion to prove that, like, hey, I found this monster, but he's really sweet, I promise. I've been studying him. And it kind of all goes wrong, because naturally it does, because Nyx got there first and is already like, you know that monster that people are, seeing glimpses of and that we heard? He's gonna kill us all. I found the proof. Wah! And Fawn is like, interesting! That's so interesting! I don't know where you could have found that, because that's not the monster. Whoa, weird. So, and Queen Clarion, the queen that she is, urges Nyx and Fawn to work together to try to figure out how to save Pixie Hollow from this big scary beast, and working together to find the right thing to do for the benefit of Pixie Hollow. Fawn is now lying to Nyx and Clarion, being like, I have no idea what you're talking about. And then she runs away to go relocate Gruff so he'd be safe. But before Fawn is able to relocate him, unfortunately, Gruff does transform into the big scary monster of the legend with the horns and the wings. And honestly, I think he looks even cooler in this form. I'm just saying. I think he is cool. Okay? But all of our girlies are trying to find him and to help him and to get him to safety. And Fawn ends up finding Tinkerbell. It seems like, from Fawn's point of view, that Tinkerbell walked up to Gruff. She's in her snow outfit because he's going to all four corners of Pixie Hollow. He's in the winter wood right now. So she's in her little snow outfit, and Fawn is out there looking for her, and to her, it looks like Gruff, he knocks out Tinkerbell, and he really hurts her, and knocks her unconscious, and so Fawn, listening to her head and not to her heart, does the right thing by helping Nyx in capturing Gruff by using his love for her, because he loves her and he fights tooth and nail to get to her when she needs him, and it's really sweet. But Fawn goes against her heart and helps Nyx capture Gruff, and once they take him away, she goes to Tinkerbell's bedside because she's injured, like I said, only to find out that when Tinkerbell wakes up, that Gruff saved her from a tree. He didn't hit her. There was a bolt of lightning that came down, it struck the tree next to her, and it was going to crush her. and he shoved her out of the way, thus saving her. He's just big. He's just big. That's not his fault, okay? And Fawn realizes, oh, he is just a big softie. Oh no, I did the wrong thing. I should have listened to my heart, not to my head. And they take off running and they try to go free Gruff. And I'm so sad. Okay, this movie, oh my god, okay, we're getting there. But they set off to free Gruff, and they do. They successfully free Gruff. So now, our girlies, they're trying to rush to get him to finish the ritual that he started with the towers and the four corners, you know what I mean? Lightning is now striking those towers, and he's very clearly anxious to do something. He needs to do something, right? And so with the help of Fawn, because she glows in the dark, she flies in front of him, and he trusts her, and he follows her, and she guides him to the four... I'm gonna cry. She guides him to the four pillars, and he starts absorbing the lightning one by one. And Nyx thinks that he's absorbing the power in order to destroy Pixie Hollow, but in reality, he's absorbing the power to redirect it away from Pixie Hollow. But she destroyed the last tower, and so instead of lightning being channeled to the tower, it's kind of striking everywhere, putting a lot more people in danger. And Nyx, almost gets hit by lightning, which Gruff dives in front of her, catching it with his horns, and she finally realizes, oh, you're saving us, you're helping us. And with the power of love and friendship, faith, trust, and pixie dust, they all now are helping Gruff grab as much lightning as possible, redirecting it away from Pixie Hollow to put out, while fairies and Sparrowmen down below are putting out fires that have been started by the lightning. And Fawn, once again helping guide Gruff, leads him directly into the heart of the storm, where he lets go of all the lightning that he's holding, thus destroying the storm and saving Pixie Hollow. And it ends, and Gruff and Fawn are knocked out of the sky completely unconscious, and they are caught by fairies before they're able to hit the ground, and the day is saved. Gruff is a hero and everyone loves him, but unfortunately Fawn isn't waking up the way that Gruff did. No one can really wake her, and she's dead. She's straight dead. Like, they kill her. that woman is dead. But Gruff, with the power of love and a little bit of lightning, is able to nudge her, and the little shock restarts her heart and wakes her up, and all the fairies rejoice, and everyone lives happily ever after. Kind of, not really. For the next few days, Gruff helps around Pixie Hollow. He is moving large things. The fairies love him. They're petting him. They're hanging out with him. He's just a big softie. But Fawn knows him, and she notices right away when he starts to get tired, and he starts to yawn more, and he moves a little slower, and she realizes, oh, it's time for him to go back to sleep. And all the fairies who have come to be his friend over the last day, in the last little montage, all the fairies that love him, set up a vigil for him to walk back to the cave. Holy shit, I'm crying on the internet, what the hell? Over a kid's movie. But they light the way so he doesn't walk in darkness, and all of our leading ladies are there to give him a parting gift as a thank you as he goes to sleep. They give him a fresh spring, a summer breeze, a soft pillow, flowers to keep the air fresh, and it's this like wonderfully sad vigil as they all say goodbye to him. Fawn last, giving him hugs and love, and it's, oh my god. They lay him down in comfort for him to sleep for another 937 years? Yeah, 937 years. And thanks to Fawn, they're now able to record the actual story of Gruff being a hero to Pixie Hollow, so that in 937 years, when he awakens once more, they will treat him with the same amount of respect that they put him to bed with, basically. And it's really sad, and it's really sweet, and it's treated like this funeral, even though we know as the audience that he's not dead, but he is dead to us and to our characters, because we're never going to see him again, because we will all die before he wakes up again, is crazy. That is a crazy way to end a children's movie. Are you kidding me? I was sobbing. I'm crying now reading the fandom wiki. Oh my god, it's so good. It's so good, the story about listening to your heart and not judging a book by its cover, and like believing the best in someone and trusting your gut, and oh my god, it's just, this is, oh my god. I've ran out of words, dude. I've been talking for like 5 hours. Watch this video only be an hour long. Oh my god. Sorry. I don't think it's a hot take that this is a sad movie. I'll be so honest with you. But let me go back to my script. 1, would I show it to my children alone? 4 out of 5. I don't think I can let them see it alone. Now, is that because emotionally I'm gonna need them more than they're gonna need me? Maybe. Okay? We'll never know. These children aren't real. But no, 4 out of 5. It's just, oh my god. This is what I mean about these Tinkerbell movies being so blatant with their morals without hitting you over the head with them. This is a moral about death, about love, about not judging a book by its cover, about listening to your heart when it matters the most, you know what I mean? And it is so beautifully done without hitting you over the head, telling you this is what it's about, you know, and I love that. And so yeah, I have no problem with my kid watching this alone. It's just emotional. It's just sad, and it deals with death, and like I think it's a really good way to very gently introduce the topic of death to your children. I don't have experience with that, so I don't know. These are all assumptions. This one I am kind of out of my depths. I don't... People think that this is weird, but I don't have a lot of experience with death, personally. I don't, at my grown-ass age, I should, but my great-grandmother died at 104, and my grandfather died years ago. You know what I mean? Before I was really sentient, so I don't have a lot of experience with it, so I have no idea how you talk to children about that, so this is all speculation. Next, do I want a doll? I put 2 out of 5, okay? So I really like Fawn's redesign for the most part. I actually quite like the refresh of the hair, that it's not that like whip thin braid. Instead we have this more fluffy spiral. I don't mind it. And I do like her top, her like over the shoulder top. It feels sporty, it feels fun. I am kind of sad I got rid of her leggings. I am, and I know, we've talked about, I love an adventure girly who puts a skirt over her tights just to look cute. Like, we've talked about it. So I kind of wish that they did that here. I don't know if that's a personal thing for me, because I like Fawn, but it just, And I remember feeling this when I first watched this in college. It feels like they prettified her because she's the lead in this movie, which feels unnecessary because she was already pretty to begin with, and I'm putting heavy quotes over pretty, you know what I mean? Because she is pretty. She's a pretty girl. She's a pixie. She's lovely. And so having to, like, prettify her even more just felt kind of weird, and it still feels kind of weird. So I kind of wish that she still had pants, personally. And honestly, I feel like if I had watched this as a kid, that would have stressed me out personally. So I don't know, I got some weird feelings on that one. I do miss her braid. I kind of wish instead of, like, a spirally ponytail, they had just given her, like, a chunky, fluffy braid. She's cute enough to garner a point. I do think she's quite pretty. Her and her little outfit, like, sitting off the edge of a bookshelf would be really pretty. So that's one point. The second point now comes for Nyx, specifically if she's in action pose. Bonus points if she's protecting the library fairy who wants to be stepped on by her. That would get a 3 out of 5, personally. But we're going to stick with 2 out of 5 for the integrity of the scientific method, okay? But yeah, I think Nyx's design is really cool. Nyx, sick-ass name. I feel like they're saving that in their back pocket for this fairy in particular. It fits her so well. So, 2 out of 5. Next. Is my heart a flutter? 5 out of 5. 5 out of 5. Fawn's insistence on listening to her heart and trusting Gruff because of his intelligence that he's exhibited and the love he's demonstrated, even though she doubts herself. And us being shown why she's right about it is really cool. It's not just because she knows. It's no, we've seen along with her these behaviors that he's exhibited. We've seen along with her that he is caring and he is intelligent and he is making these active choices, you know what I mean? When she says that's not like him, it's not just a gut feeling, it's knowing. And I think that that is a really great lesson to start teaching children. Again, it's not like, you're 6, trust your gut over everything. No, absolutely not. Absolutely not. I think this movie balances that really well because Fawn is challenged so much on this. I don't know. I just really like it. Am I thinking too much into children's movies? I don't care. That's what we're here for. Next is my go bag packed. 1 out of 5. I am interested in the animal fairy sanctuary where Nyx is questioning all of them and they all are doing like different animal tasks, like teaching them how to jump, teaching them how to dance. What were they doing? Oh, teaching them how to sing. Like teaching them how to sing, teaching them how to hop, you know what I mean? It interests me. Not enough where I want to actually be an animal fairy, but it interests me in the way where I want to hang out at my boyfriend's job. Like, I want to be there and I want to pet all the babies and I want to see them do their fun trick and I want to give them little treats, but I don't want to do any of the work here. I'm too soft. I can't do it. I can't do any of the work. I can't teach them anything. I can't get attached. I just want to be the aunt that kind of spoils them with too many treats and makes them fat. That's it. Next, how hard did I cry? 5 out of 5, and if you rate it anything lower, you're just lying to yourself. Don't pretend. We all know you're just lying to yourself. It doesn't just pull on your heartstrings, it pulls your heartstrings out of your chest. It's so good. It is so good. I'm sorry my lisp is coming out more, it's because I'm tired. Next, did I dance in my seat? I gave it a 4 out of 5. And here's the thing. This one I think has less music than the previous two. And it's better for it. It has the opening number, which is epic, and there's build to it, and there's tension, and then the dun-dun happens, and the eye opens, and you're like, oh, y'all came to play. Ooh, okay. Like, it hits. It is dramatic, and it is over the top, and it's, ooh, mwah. Especially after the pirate fairy, it was very much needed, I'm not gonna lie to you. It was very needed. Next, how evil is evil? It's a 1 out of 5. It's a 1 out of 5 simply because the conflict is everyone is trying to do the right thing, right? And that it's a slippery slope. And not the right thing for themselves and their beliefs, but the right thing for everyone, to keep everyone safe, right? And that is one thing that I really love, is all the pixies, they work as one and they look out for each other and they put the needs of the many above the needs of the one in the most Disney Channel way possible. There's something about that that's very wholesome and very sweet, that they feel so connected to, like, their culture and their home, and they'll do anything to protect it. And they all think that they're doing the right thing for the betterment of pixie kind. And I don't know, I love that. I love that, personally. And I think it makes a great conflict, but it's not evil and it's not fucked up. It's more like the Secret of the Wings conflict, where it's like, ooh, there's stakes. There are stakes here. And they're juicy, and they're medium rare, and, like, they're good. But it's not evil. It's not this huge conflict that feels like this outer force pushing in on our heroes. Again, it feels like this interpersonal, very mature conflict. It doesn't, yeah, I think that's one way I could put it. It feels like mature conflict, and I love that. I love that. The reason why Nyx doesn't trust Fawn is not because of some selfish agenda, it's because Fawn has fucked up a lot in the past. I.e., the baby hawk situation. So, like, it's just good. It's just good. The stakes are so juicy. Oh no, my croissant, she's too buttery. Next, would this be made today? I put a 0 out of 5 because I can't think of a single reason why this movie wouldn't be made today. Maybe someone would say that, like, no, it's too sad. But, like, it's a good kind of sad. So I can't imagine that being the reason why it wouldn't be greenlit. Like, everything about this story feels pretty timeless, because love and trusting your heart and doing the right thing never goes out of style. So I 0 out of 5, unfortunately. I wish I could score it higher. I want to give it more points. Deductions, also 0. Great movie. Which makes our final score, dun, 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 a 24. Which, again, feels about right. And with that, we have finished the Disney Fairy Collection. Some of my favorite movies of all time. And low-key, I am actually really sad that we're done. I mean, we got a few more minutes in the video. Don't go nowhere. We got a few more minutes, but I don't know. Like, I'm sad this is the second video in the series because I am going to miss looking forward to making this video, if that makes sense. I don't know. We still have the 2 short films, and I know, Secret of the Wings, there's that book. There's the book, something Starlight. Wings of Starlight, which I need you to know that I've had that book on my TBR since it came out. The day it was released, opening day, I added it to my wish list and I considered buying it, and then I didn't, and I'm like, I keep renting it from the library and then I keep not reading it, and I need to read it. And honestly, I was saving the Wings of Starlight because I knew I wanted to do a video kind of like this. I didn't know what the premise was going to be, but I knew I wanted to watch all of the Tinkerbell movies. And I thought I was going to be able to, like, make space for it in this video, but you've seen the length of the video. That's not happening. I don't know. I'll do it in a separate video if I get enough new subscribers from this video. Now, what is enough? Let's say 100. Let's say if I get 100 subscribers, I'll make that video. Okay? So make sure to hit subscribe so you don't miss it. And now, with all that said and done, let's go to the graph. Whee! So, did the Pixie Hollow movies progressively get worse? It's hard to say, because we start with a nice medium score of 16.5 with the OG Tinkerbell, then we're slowly going up, with The Lost Treasure up to a 19, peaking at The Great Fairy Rescue at a 26, but then we start to go back down with Secret of the Wings, and then bottoming out with The Pirate Fairy at 14.5. But then The Neverbeast, from the top rope, comes into the story and shoots back up to a 24. So I think if it wasn't for Neverbeast, I would feel very confident in saying that these movies hit their peak and then petered off. But man, I don't know. I think Neverbeast injected enough life back into the series where, like, people still kind of asking for more, you know? And personally, I have a few thoughts about what happened. Not that you asked, but I'm going to tell you anyway. I think in 2012, with Secret of the Wings, social media was becoming more mainstream, and I think that they tried to modernize, hence the more poppy-sounding music in the end credits and in The Great Divide, right? And not only that, but also pushing for more marketable designs. If you notice, the last few movies, I'm like, damn, these designs go hard. They're good. But unfortunately, a lot of it felt like it came at the cost of the story, which I don't like that. I really don't. And not only that, but then 2014, if you notice, The Pirate Fairy and Neverbeast both came out in 2014, the first time for two videos to come out in the same year. But it feels like they tried to branch off in two different directions. Branching off with The Pirate Fairy, trying to open up a way for original stories to kind of come through, to explore other aspects of Pixie Hollow. And then with The Neverbeast, maybe going down the line of each of our girls headlining their own movie, right? Their own story. That's what it feels like. It feels like they're trying to do this branching thing, and they bit off more than they can chew, and they couldn't do it, and we have two movies that came out at the same time with vastly different quality. It's just interesting, and I don't think either of those ideas are bad ideas, branching off to create original stories versus branching off in the other direction to follow the leads that we've already established. Personally, I would have favored the latter, but neither of them are bad ideas in a vacuum, right? I just think that they needed to focus on one and execute it well, and unfortunately, they didn't. Once they lost the seasonal plot per movie, I think they went a little off the rails, which is fine. I think they went a little off the rails. There was another 2 movies in the docket. One of them was steampunk Tinkerbell, of her going to the mainland and finding the fairies that are in the mainland. And then, which, I mean, look at this art. Look at this art. I'm actually going to link a video from Saraserif down below and in the card right here. I'm going to link it. She does a deep dive on, like, the Lost Tinkerbell movie, and it's really good. It's a really good video. So I know that movie was in the docket. And then apparently, I think there were rumors of a Tinkerbell movie where she meets Peter Pan for the first time. And honestly, I'm going to say something a little controversial. Just a little. I am low-key, only a little, the teensy-weensy, tiniest bit glad that these movies stopped when they did. You know what I mean? Because now we're able to look back at them fondly. Even The Pirate Fairy, we're able to look back at it fondly because it's such a concise, short list of movies that, for the most part, feel cohesive. Again, excluding The Pirate Fairy. We're just not going to look at the implications of that movie. There is a very real possibility that they could have beat this franchise into the ground. And I'm glad that they didn't. I'm glad that we have what they have. And do I wish that we had a Tinkerbell TV show? One that I could binge every single year like clockwork? Yes. Yes, I do. Of course I do. Of course I want more Tinkerbell. Of course I do. I'm just glad that we can look back at these fondly and that these movies hold up. They hold up in my head. They hold up in my heart. They hold up on my score sheet, personally, in my opinion. Hi, Editing Percy here. So I just want to come in here and clear up some misinformation. So originally I had said that The Neverbeast and The Pirate Fairy both came out in 2014. Not the case. I was misinformed. And by that I mean I read the wrong date. In the UK, I think they both came out in 2014. But in the States, 2014, 2015. Next, we were speculating as to why the Tinkerbell movies might have came to an end. And I suspected that, as most movie series do, that there was a steady decline in financial revenue, right? And having that assumption, partnered with our graphs that we can see, okay, somewhere in the middle, there was kind of a dip before they brought it back in the end. That maybe it was starting to peter its way out. Right, in the general consensus. Well, that's not the case, and I don't know how accurate these numbers are because every single website seems to have a different number, but they all follow the same trend. So I don't know who is following So I don't know who's reporting on DVD versus merch versus box office. I don't know. I don't think these came out in the box office. But the general consensus seems to be that The Pirate Fairy was the highest grossing movie out of all of them. Which makes sense. Again, look at my girls. That's a marketer's dream. They're so cute. And then it seems like with Neverbeast, there's a bit of a fall off. So while our graph does this, the revenue ones that I've seen for the most part do kind of this and a little peter off, which screws up my entire thought process. But that just means that I have no idea why Disney ended these movies, other than they hate me personally. So yeah, I have a lot of thoughts about what happened with the Tinkerbell series. Part of me is glad that we have this concise little pocket of Pixie Hollow that we can revisit whenever we want, where we can feel safe and small and cozy and happy and all of those things that I personally love to be. But with all of that out of the way, with all of my love and all of my grievances and all my questions out of the way, now that they're out into the universe, we can talk about down below, but out of the way, let's now look at the chart for all of the movies we have covered so far. Let me scooch out of the way for you. All of the movies we have covered so far. They are in chronological order and they are color-coded for your convenience. Ta-da! And we will continue to build this graph so one day we have watched and rated every single Disney movie and we'll be able to answer definitively, are they getting worse with time? But to answer that question specifically for this collection, yes. Unfortunately, I think that they started to go downhill after the Great Fairy Rescue. It's a gentle slope, but it is a slope. We can see it in the graph. There's a gentle slope. And it was brought back up at the end with the Neverbeast, proving that the sauce is still there. The meat is still there. The love is still there. And personally, in my heart, I believe that these movies are cult classics that deserve at least one last final hurrah. Yes, I do. Do I think that they got worse with age? For the most part, yeah. Unfortunately. But that doesn't mean that they're not still good. I still love these, and you can pry these movies out of my cold dead hands, okay? And now, for our second question of the video, of what talent is Percy? We've been crossing talents off of our list throughout this entire video, and the only ones that we have left are Garden, Light, Storytelling, and Water Fairy. And all of those, to me, as the person who knows me best in the entire world, sound correct. Any of them can apply. And so, I think I know officially which one I would be, but I kind of want you to guess. Put your guesses down below. The first person to guess right, I'll pin. It's a fun game. And also, while you're down there, let me know what talent you identify with and why. Or what movie collection I should tackle next. We still got the Almost Princesses, the sequels, and fan favorites, I think, are the next three categories that we can vote on. I am a woman of the people, after all. And with that, it is officially 3 a.m. and I must simply go rest my wings. So I bid thee farewell and good night. I can't believe I did it. It's done. Is it good? I don't know, but I'll make it work.